www.ca.gov. All the presentations for today's meeting are also available on the Commission Meetings page of our website under the View Download Meeting Materials tab. Any document the CTC creates can be translated into any language you need. Simply email us at ctc@catc.ca.gov. We will have them returned to you as quickly as possible. American Sign Language translation is being provided on the webinar for this meeting. You should see the translators on your screen. Live closed captioning is also available. Please select the Show Captions tab at the bottom of your screen. There are a number of language options available to choose from. If you're on the agenda to make a presentation, please do your best to be succinct. Remember to speak at a steady pace to allow our translating services adequate time for accurate translation. If you're presenting remotely, we hope that you will turn on your camera during your presentation if you have one. Members of the public, we welcome comments from the public as a part of each item at this meeting. For those attending in person, please submit a speaker slip to the clerk at the front of the room, that's me, to let us know that you want to comment on an item. You do not need to put them in the slot in the back. Go ahead and bring them up front. For those attending via Zoom, you should see the webinar control panel, likely located on the bottom of your screen. There you'll find the raise hand and Q&A tabs. We encourage you to use the raise hand feature as early into the item as you can to give the system time to acknowledge you. Commission staff will let you know when it's your turn to make your comment. Alternately, you may use the Q&A tab to submit your comment. Please be sure to include the agenda item number you're commenting on. Commission staff will read the comment on your behalf. As a reminder, each registered attendee is provided a unique link and number to access the webinar, and they should not be shared with other participants. Please do your best to be concise. Be sure that your comments add new information. If you agree with the comments of a previous speaker, simply make that statement. Remember to speak at a steady pace to allow our translating services adequate time for accurate translation. Since we often have many speakers, we ask you make your point in 2 minutes or less. And if for some reason we have many speakers on any single topic, we reserve the right to limit comments to 1 minute if needed. Thank you for joining us today. We know your time is valuable and we appreciate you sharing some of it with us.
Thanks so much, Justin. We're now going to move to the Welcome to the Region, and I'd like to welcome up Matthew Serrato and Scott Silveria. So happy to have you here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. We want to welcome everybody to the City of Merced. My name is Matt Serrato. I'm the mayor of the City of Merced. Again, want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for hosting your meeting here in the City of Merced and the County of Merced as well. We're very, very excited to have you. As you could tell, and anybody who took the tour with us this morning, we're extremely excited about a lot of the work and a lot of the projects we have going here, and transportation is so much a part of it. You think, back at the history of our state, history of our county as well, when the railroads first came to the City of Merced in 1872, and then later on with all the other improvements and such as Highway 99, how that transportation is so essential, how it provides the backbone for everything else and the backbone for so much growth. So as we look forward to, Merced is a very fast growing city. We grew over the last 5 years by 16%. A lot of new housing, a lot of new growth. We've taken a lot of pride in so many other projects in terms of revitalizing downtown. We hope you've been able to enjoy our downtown, have made big efforts to make improvements there the last few years, and also other significant regional and statewide transportation projects coming in the near future with under state law and the current state rail plan, Merced being the plan or the place where both high-speed rail, ACE, and Amtrak is all supposed to join. Also as well, big projects too with UC Merced and building out our Merced Loop project. So a lot of very exciting projects here. Again, want to thank you for being here. We hope you enjoy your time and have a great meeting, and I'll turn it over to Supervisor Silveria.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Commission. Welcome to Merced County. We appreciate you being out here, and actually, as I shared with Commissioner Tiffany on our tour earlier, you guys get to vote on a lot of stuff that affects the state, but you don't always get to actually see where the project's happen. And so hopefully we did a good job on our tour earlier today of showing you some of those things that are important to our region. I want to start by thanking you for those of you that did spend some time with us this morning. Here in Merced County, transportation isn't just about from getting point A to point B. It's about keeping the heart of California's economy beating. Here in Merced County, agriculture is what built us, from cows to tomatoes to corn. Those are the things that thrive and will continue to support us here in the San Joaquin Valley. And I don't want to forget about almonds. If Merced County was a state, we would be ranked 37 or 32nd country as far as agriculture production just right here in Merced County. But none of it moves without well-maintained roads, efficient corridors, and safe routes to connect our fields and markets to the farm table. At the same time, we're not just about trucks and tractors. Also proud to be the gateway to Yosemite, where we've embarked on an endeavor called YARTS. We actually rode on a YARTS bus this morning. It's the Yosemite Area Regional Transportation System, which is a 5-county JPA that stretches from the Western Sierras to the Eastern Sierras that gives year-round public transportation into the jewel that is Yosemite National Park. We're proud to be a part of that, and I always like to say is it's a local government solution to really a federal problem, and as we are very grateful for the support that we get from the state of California, we also would like to have that same great support from, not that we don't get any, but we could always use a little bit more. As a member of the YARTS board, I've seen us in a progress go from we're barely hanging on to we kind of had a plan with going to a green fleet. You know, electric buses don't work in the topography that is Yosemite National Park. If we could fly the buses up there, they'll make it down the hill. The problem is they just can't get up the hill. So we're exploring alternative options when it comes to hydrogen to be able to meet those state goals. So you've seen today that Merced County is growing, changing, and planning for the future, but we haven't lost who we are. We're practical, we're proud, and yes, we're still proudly growing the food on your dinner tables. So before I wrap up and hand it over to our assembly member, we'd like to show you a short video that captures the spirit of the region. And again, thank you for your partnership, for your work that you do across California and making the trip to see what's happening here in Merced County. Thank you.
Welcome to Merced County. Located in the heart of the San Joaquin Valley, this is a landscape that weaves both urban and rural into its varied tapestry. With cities that span from the steppes of the Sierra Nevada in the east to the foot of the coastal range in the west, whose people are as diverse as their enterprises. This county is home to farmers, researchers, business owners, healthcare workers, teachers, artists, and dedicated public servants. This is a gateway from where visitors launch their adventure to one of the most iconic gems in the national park system, Yosemite National Park, and a place where blue devils and bobcats roam freely. Known primarily for its rich agricultural lands, Merced County has long thrived on the production and processing of milk, almonds, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, and livestock. And while these industries continue to play a fundamental role in our culture and livelihood, this place we call home has become so much more. The city of Merced is home to the 10th campus of the University of California, alongside a community college with over 50 proud years of history, and is set to become a premier hub for passenger rail service in the San Joaquin Valley when high-speed rail, ACE, and the Amtrak San Joaquins all converge into one downtown station. This station offers a historic opportunity to demonstrate the fundamental benefits of multimodal transportation connections to an entire region. Key to this undertaking will be finishing State Route 99 in Merced County and throughout the San Joaquin Valley. These last segments of 4-lane highway are critical projects to improve safety and efficiency along the corridor for the movement of goods and people. From providing residents safe access to services and opportunities to connecting goods to Merced County's inland port, finishing the 99 is the key to Merced County's quality of life and prosperous future. Another priority transportation project in Merced County is the Atwater-Merced Expressway, which, upon its completion, will connect the 99 to Castle Commerce Center. At Castle, the inland port allows agricultural producers and manufacturers the ability to quickly ship and receive products via this hub that connects rail, freight, and air cargo to and from ports in California. While these developments are exciting, the heart of Merced County lies in its cities and towns, where investments in housing, public transit, water infrastructure, art, and recreation are enhancing the everyday lives of local residents. The city of Castine is known for its welcoming spirit and small-town charm. The first roundabout on the state highway system in Merced County is here, as are many new sidewalks, crosswalks, and recreational paths, a testament to the city's investment in alternative modes of transportation. Also on the west side of the county, The City of Los Banos is tackling the region's housing needs with a new development that will provide 50 permanent units to 95 local unhoused residents. When paired with assistance at the county's Navigation Center, housing projects such as these help bolster the region's network of resources and provide real solutions to the ongoing fight against homelessness. The City of Dos Palos has been busy reviving its public facilities. From the construction of a new drinking water plant to the renovation of O'Banion Park with its county library branch, local residents are benefiting from these improvements to their local infrastructure every day. Measure V is also making a big impact in this small rural town with the completion of the new Lorraine Street Bridge and the complete Blossom Street project about to break ground. History enthusiasts will love the city of Atwater. Here, individuals can explore a vast collection of historic aircraft at Castle Air Museum and step back in time at the Bloss House, a stunning historic landmark that offers a glimpse into the early days of the region. The city of Livingston is a place where vibrant cultures meet a thriving agricultural economy. Livingston is home to Foster Farms, and growers in both Livingston and Atwater are responsible for 80% of California's sweet potatoes. The community takes pride in hosting its annual Sweet Potato Festival that draws crowds from around the valley. Throughout Merced County, the arts and the environment also shine. Seasonal wetlands provide vital habitats for wildlife, and our vast open spaces offer breathtaking views of landscapes. In our urban areas, community-driven art initiatives, including sculptures, monuments, and murals, bring color, creativity, and depth to our neighborhoods and public spaces. The last 25 years have been a period of growth and transformation, but the story of Merced County is far from over. With bold investments in transportation, infrastructure, and community development, we are well positioned for a thriving future, one shaped by vision, innovation, and the spirit of its people.
What a great video. Highlights all the gems that exist here in Merced County. Good morning to all the commissioners and all those folks in the audience. I am Assemblywoman Esmeralda Soria, representing District 27, and Merced County is one of the 3 counties that I represent here in the Central Valley. So I also want to echo the welcoming remarks from my 2 other dear elected officials of this local community. Welcome to the city of Merced. Welcome to the Valley. I believe it's a historic day in this county because I think for the first time the CTC Commission is here. And so I want to thank you guys for making the trip here, wanting to not just learn about the things that are happening in our community, but taking the time to really come and interact with our local folks, learning what is important to us, going to allow us and our community to be able to thrive. And I know that you guys all hold the keys to the opportunities that can be created in our by the decisions that you guys all make as being part of this commission. So I also just want to thank the local folks here who very closely with the commission to make sure that today was successful and the next 2 days that you guys are going to be here. To Stacy Guzman and her entire team, thank you for organizing this. I do want to give a shout out to Commissioner Leanne Eager, who has deep roots here in the Central Valley. And I know that since her time on this commission, she's made it a point to bring you guys back. And so it's good to see you guys here in Merced County. I know last year you guys were out in Madera County, another area that I represent. And so you guys have had an opportunity to, again, to see, to talk, to interact, and then to, I think at the end, really see the votes that you guys take when you guys make decisions on projects, how that ends up having a ripple effect here in our local community. So thank you, Commissioner Eager, for, again, your commitment. Even though you don't live in the Valley anymore, I know that you still have a strong commitment to ensuring the Valley has a voice in this very important commission. So thank you for that. I am thrilled that that you guys all chose Merced County as the destination for your meeting today, because as mentioned, it is the San Joaquin Valley is truly the heart of California's not just economy, but also our transportation system. It's what connects Northern California to Southern California, and as we heard, in this area, around 92% of our agricultural products move by truck, primarily on the State Route 99, the Interstate 5 on the west side, and our east and west corridors. I think I'm brave to say that in this that we wouldn't exist without the Central Valley, and that all of California and our nation should care about the Central Valley because here in this area we grow, to the tunes of over 400 commodities that you and I all get to enjoy and partake in to sustenance as our ability to live. And so I'm grateful that you guys are all here, and that you guys will see and hear. And I know that I've shared it before. The challenges that do exist today when it comes to our transportation system and the infrastructure that is so critical. I think uh, what beyond the infrastructure, there's people involved, people that are the end user, and then people that actually get to build these communities. And through infrastructure, that's what you do. You build communities, you build neighborhoods. And here in our area, State Route 99 continues to rank among the most dangerous highways in the nation with multiple bottlenecks, as you guys probably have seen and experienced, and safety hazards that we hear about each and every day. I know I see it. I drive it every single day, not just when I'm going to from one county to another, but every week when I'm on the road to go to Sacramento, I see every exit. I see the construction that's happening or the future construction that needs to happen to ensure that not only am I safe, but that constituents that live in our community and those that are passing by also have the benefit of being safe while they're traveling through the 99. I'm a big supporter of finishing the 99, which includes some critical gaps in the south of here, Avenue 7, through Avenue 12 in Madera, and those including here in Merced County. I know that there's some challenges with the way that it was initially built, but I think California is known to always tackle challenges and be innovative in the way that we invest and build things in our great state. And so we must continue to invest in these lifeline routes that serve also many disadvantaged communities in the state of California. I know that in today's agenda, you have item 77, which addresses some of the challenges on Highway 41, where we've seen above average collisions and fatality in this route. So I urge you guys to support this project as it will address many of the concerns that folks experience here in our local community. Across the valley, we're also working to build more livable communities by expanding mobility options, as you guys have seen in the video, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions at the same time. A great example, you guys were all there last year, State Route 141 downtown Madera Main Street plan, which will bring more bike lanes. You guys all will see that hopefully in the next visit. It'll be all completed, crosswalks and complete streets features, encouraging greater foot traffic and revitalizing downtown. And right here in downtown Merced, the city just recently rerouted Main Street. If you guys had a chance to walk or will get later today and the next day to see the investments that are making in downtown Merced and remodeling Bob Hart Square, creating a safer, more walkable downtown core that supports our small businesses and really builds really a strong downtown for not just the folks that live here, but the folks that surround this great city. So I encourage you all to take a walk, a stroll, and see what is happening downtown Merced. I'm very proud to represent. There's a lot of small new businesses coming in, and so we're excited because it is these infrastructure investments that attract the economic development that ends up helping provide the opportunity for many of these communities, especially those that that have been overseen. And I think many of us in the Central Valley for far too long have been felt left behind. And that's why it's important that the work and the investments that you make level out the playing field for us. And that's what by you being here today, can do for the families that live in this community. And so I just want to highlight several important projects that have happened or are happening in my district, and want to thank the commission because you guys have played a role in that. And I know I just want to speak on behalf of our rural mayors and council members that I meet on a regular basis. They're very excited about the projects that have happened, like on Highway 145, the roundabout in Kerman, Highway 33, a roundabout in Mendota. We just had the ribbon cut earlier this week, downtown Madera, the overlay project that you guys also were able to be a part of. John, the Eureka rest area improvements off the 5 for those traveling across the state. Those rest areas are very, very critical, making sure that they're safe. And so those improvements are going to be great. Also, the critical upgrades to State Route 59, State Route 140, and State Route 152. Obviously, the widening of Highway 99 from Merced to Atwater, very important. And bridge and pedestrian path rebuilds with new crosswalks and flashing lights, especially near schools where children walk to class. Obviously, we're a mix of urban and rural, and so these projects are very, very important. And I will also just say that a lot of these projects wouldn't happen if it wasn't for state investments. We are talking about some of the poorest communities, some of the smallest budgets. You have cities that are 6,000, that are 4,000, that you can imagine they have a very, very tiny budget. They could never ever build these types of projects. So the investments that the state makes and that the commission prioritize are extremely, extremely critical, and they're life-saving projects at the end of the day. And so again, I want to thank all of you for being here, for listening, and for watching also what is happening, and for being part of change here in our community by making investments in our area that are truly deserving of more investment. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your comments. It's a pleasure to be here. Next up, we're going to move to tab. Oh, I apologize. Is there any public comment on this item?
There is no public comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the reminder. Oh, okay, great. We're going to move to tabs 3 through 5. Justin.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tabs 3, 4, and 5 are all action items. They will be voted together. Tab 3 is the approval of the meeting minutes from the August 14th and 15th, 2025 CTC meeting. Tab 4 is the Commissioner meetings for compensation. And tab 5 is committee member compensation. And staff recommends your approval.
Thank you. Is there any comments, public comments on this item?
There is no public comment. Thank you.
All right, anything from the dais?
I'll make a motion for approval.
So moved by Commissioner Tiffany. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner, going brain dead here. Bradshaw, thank you. Sorry, brother. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thanks so much. Now we're going to move to a report from our Commission Chief Deputy Director, Paul G.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm once again substituting for Tanisha, our Executive Director, who's continuing to recover from surgery and will be returning from medical leave shortly. I'd like to thank Mayor Serrato, Supervisor Silvera, and Assemblymember Soria for welcoming the Commission to the region just now. And also want to thank Director Guzman and MCAG for their hospitality in organizing this morning's tour. It was really interesting seeing a lot of the planned transportation improvements for the Inland Port project. As was mentioned, we also got to ride the YART bus and learn about some of the public transportation options here in Merced County. And we also traveled over a very narrow bridge as well. Last month, several staff and commissioners attended the 2025 Mobility 21 Southern California Transportation Summit. This year's theme was the power of partnership. We were pleased to join with many of our partner agencies in Southern California to discuss the pressing transportation challenges in the region and learn how we might approach common solutions across the state. In September, the Commission also held a town hall meeting in Chico. I'd like to thank Yvonne Garcia and the Butte County Association of Governments for hosting us for that town hall and for bringing together many local and regional partners to share with the Commission the transportation accomplishments you're delivering in Chico, Paradise, Oroville, and throughout the North State Super Region. Many of the projects we visited during the town hall were funded through the Commission's Active Transportation Program and Local Transportation Climate Adaptation Program. And some of the projects are featured here on the slide. There was one that we went to the ribbon cutting, which was a pedestrian and bike overcrossing project over a very busy street that we got to be there for its opening, which was wonderful. These projects showcase the creative approaches communities in the region are taking to be successful in the Commission's competitive funding programs. And it's exciting to see how those programs are supporting the rebuilding and recovery of Paradise in particular. Before we move into today's agenda, I'd like to note that this week, the Commission will be asked to allocate a total of nearly $4.9 billion to transportation projects across the state. This is a truly impressive level of investment in our transportation system. These allocations will continue our progress towards building safe, equitable, and multimodal transportation systems for all Californians. Later in the agenda, we'll hear from members of the Interagency Equity Advisory Committee on their new vision, mission, and foundational principles for transportation equity. We look forward to the Equity Advisory Committee's continued engagement in the Commission's funding programs as those foundational principles are implemented. I'd like to mention a few upcoming events that we have. First, on October 22nd and 23rd, the Commission and Caltrans will be hosting an in-person active transportation program symposium in Davis. This event will bring together local, regional, state, and tribal governments to discuss active transportation topics and share knowledge and best practices. We'll have an update on the active transportation program on today's agenda, and we hope to see many of our partners at UC Davis for this symposium. On October 29th, Commission staff will hold the next meeting of the Vehicle Weight Safety Study Task Force. The task force is continuing to review research prepared by the University of California related to vehicle trends and safety outcomes for vulnerable road users, and potential policy responses. After the meeting on the 29th, the task force is expected to meet one additional time on November 13th to finalize its findings. Staff will present the task force findings to the Commission and to the Equity Advisory Committee at the December meeting to gather additional feedback. The task force findings and additional feedback will inform development of the Commission's report to the legislature, which will begin after the task force wraps up. Both task force meetings are open to the public, and we encourage anyone interested to participate. And finally, on November 6th, the Commission will participate in this year's second joint meeting with the California Air Resources Board and the Department of Housing and Community Development. This meeting will be held in Sacramento. Later this month, Executive Director Taylor will be receiving the Sisters of NEA Women on Fire Flame Carrier Award. This award recognizes the powerful leadership of Black women who continue to inspire, uplift, and pave the way for future generations. So congratulations, Tanisha. She's not certain if she's listening, but hopefully not. I'd also like to announce that the Commission was nominated as Partner of the Year by the Solano Transportation Authority. We're pleased to be recognized in this way, and I'd like to acknowledge all the hard work on the part of Commission staff that makes that partnership possible. Commissioners, this concludes my report. And as a reminder, our next regular Commission meeting will be in Riverside on December 4th and December 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Any public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item. Thank you.
Chair, we did give one written public comment I'd like to read.
Thank you.
It's from Yvonne Garcia, who hosted us for the town hall meeting. I'd like to sincerely thank everyone who took the time to come from their busy schedules to Chico for our town hall. Thanks to CTC staff for working with me to hopefully have delivered a memorable event highlighting just a few of the accomplished projects and what is coming up for our region. Thanks to Commission staff and Caltrans who also participated in the North State Super Region. As a small region, we wear many hats and it's difficult to stay fully engaged with all the state and federal planning and programming requirements. Your presence truly means a lot to us. Commissioner Eager, seriously, sharing with the family history and the ties to the North State was great. Commissioner Mann, thank you for sharing your experience walking the Esplanade ATP project. We agree it's beautiful and functional. Vice Chair Falcone, thank you for your kind words, and we didn't mean to put you on the spot. And to Commissioner Tiffany, thank you for driving all the way from San Benito, not San Bernardino, Yvonne. I'm kidding, from San Benito. I hope you were able to visit the Oroville Dam on your way back. We hope you learned a little bit about our region, our needs and direction, and our ability to deliver projects that the Commission would be proud to invest in. Chico has made a tremendous effort advancing ATP and safety projects. Oroville is on the verge of securing ATP, and the town of Paradise is rebuilding as fast as possible. There's one thing I learned from the town of Paradise: recovery requires flexibility. None of this would have been possible without your support and the excellent staff you have. Well, that and all of our sponsors too. If Vince Mamano's in the crowd, I'm sorry you missed the bus tour. We hope to invite you all to our next major ribbon cutting. Thank you from everyone in Butte County.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very sweet. Thank you. Any other public comment on this item?
There's no other public comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we're going to move on to item 7, Commissioner and ex officio reports. Is there any commissioners that would like to? Commissioner Tiffany.
Thank you, Chair. And I did visit Oroville Dam, so if you're listening, but to piggyback on that very kind letter, part of the great part of being a commissioner is we get around the entire state and visit areas that maybe we don't always think about when we're thinking about more of the urban areas. But I come from a rural area, an adjacent county, San Benito County, and I really appreciate coming to counties like Merced, Madera counties, and as was stated with my fellow commissioners, Falcone, Eager, and Mann, we visited Chico and Butte County. And as is always the case, these town hall meetings are really inspiring. And so we got a chance to see what was happening in Chico. It's very exciting. An amazing, I did not see it prior to the fire, but it's amazing to see the recovery of Paradise. Just it's unbelievable work that they've done in a few short years to recover from that devastating fire. And then also I just want to comment on a handful of us got an opportunity to get a tour yesterday in Madera County and see the downtown Madera and the revitalization, the street diet project that's coming. It's very exciting. And again, this morning we got a great tour of your county, and it was just a pleasure to see all the hard work that you're working on, and we look forward to seeing it come before us. So just wanted to thank you for your hospitality and just say that we really enjoy being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tiffany. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Eager.
Well, Commissioner Tiffany took everything I was going to say. So I'll say ditto to all of that, since we got to tour all of those things together. And yeah, when we were in Chico, seeing what a small community can do when they all come together and say, okay, we have this common goal. We see that. And even though, they're a little bit north, we see that in the valley all the time, right? We come together and say, oh man, we got to finish this 99. We have to do what we've promised for the last 30 years. And we see that as we travel around the state. And today, thank you, Stacy, for showing us as you're, driving out towards the economic development region that you're building, going through a small town and passing school is not the answer. We have done that for years and years and years in this state, and we're certainly looking at how do we fix that. We did that yesterday when we were in Madera and we saw the state route going right through the downtown and people trying to run across the street. Transportation 7,500 years ago, we did it wrong. And now we have to look at ourselves and say, what do we need to do about that? Cutting communities in half, ensuring that people can all come together and have that sense of community. That's our responsibility, and certainly take that seriously. Thank you to all of those who put this on today. I know Stacy, we racing around at the last minute trying to make sure that we got everything in. We appreciate you stepping up and putting this all together. And we know you have like 10,000 things on your plate. So if her board is here, take some of those things off so she can just really focus on transportation. She didn't pay me to say that. But it's so important. And as we look at transportation and housing and economic development and climate change and workforce development, these are huge issues that we all have to come together and say, how do we fix this as a state? How do we fix this as a group? When we were in Paradise and we saw what happened when transportation failed, because people had no way to get from the side streets to the main street to get out of town, and 85 people died there in 12 hours. We can't keep letting that happen. If you haven't seen the movie The Lost Bus with Matthew McConaughey, it's the true story of Paradise. And the city manager did tell us that even though usually Hollywood, they add things to it, they pretend in the stories, he said this one was a true story of what happened in Paradise. So if you haven't had a chance to see it, it's gut-wrenching, but I would suggest. But that tells us what we need to do. That reminds us these are real people's lives that we have in our hands. So thank you for taking us on that tour today. Thank you for hosting us here. Thank you for reminding us that it is about the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Eager. Vice Chair Falcon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to piggyback on my colleagues' comments, we have traveled together and have visited these communities and appreciate the warm comments from our friends from Butte County. It is impactful. My colleague, Commissioner Tiffany, often says one size doesn't fit all. And so when we visit these communities, we get to see how we right size projects that fit the needs of the communities that we serve. And so when we tour Merced and neighboring communities and Butte County, there's that saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, when you're actually touring these places, it impacts us 4x, I would say, because you meet the people, you meet what the needs are of the communities. And so I really appreciate when we are invited to visit all the wonderful things that communities are doing to help their quality of life, their economic development, their people, their children that travel to schools, improving their mobility that's not always vehicle centered. These are really important for us to see and to hear and to understand as we are here in the dais making these decisions. And so thank you. Finally, I wanted to, on behalf of my friend and sort of mutual brother, Assemblymember David Alvarez, say hello, he says, to Assemblymember Soria. This is twice that I've been to your community, so I'm hoping that you will come to San Diego and visit us. He does say that he looks forward to seeing you at the next session. So with that, thank you for your welcoming words, Mayor and Supervisor, Assemblymember. Thank you.
Thanks, Vice Chair. Any other commissioners like to make a point? Anyone online? All right, cool. I'm going to do my statement here. Just want to thank Merced for hosting us. For years, I've been a fan of your efforts to leverage rail investments. I worked in DC for 10 years and often use your story as an example, the power of rail in supporting economic development in small towns. It's a pleasure to be here. I love your Main Street. Congratulations on all the work that you clearly put into this. I've had a great deal of fun traveling around the state, meeting with stakeholders and partners. A few examples: I delivered a $90 million check to the Transportation Agency for Monterey County in support of a project that provides multimodal benefits for all road users while enhancing freight access. I chaired our toll hearing for the 241-91 corridor in Southern California. Proponents believe this project will support commuters experiencing long commutes due to a spatial mismatch of jobs and affordable housing, a story that we hear across our great state. I represented the CTC at a major ribbon cutting in the North Bay of our great Bay Area, our state's great Bay Area. The project is multimodal and will enhance the livability for residents in the entire Bay region. It was a pleasure to reconnect with all the officials there and the stakeholders, including our Senate Pro Tem, Mike McGurry. I also attended as a CTC rep the latest meeting of the Green Empowerment Zone, which seeks to protect labor, the environment, and the economy in the Contra Costa and Solano waterfront. This region is historically important when it comes to industry, and it is my great pleasure to work alongside them as they seek to continue to provide a ladder to the middle class for the working class as the region experiences major economic change. Yesterday, as was mentioned, I attended a tour of downtown Madera with Commissioners Eager and Tiffany, folks who have deep rural background and experience. This tour was particularly important to me as I have a great interest in the effort to revitalize our rural Main Street across our great state. The story of this downtown is particularly compelling. Our investment is being leveraged by the community and Caltrans to provide a sense of place for the folks that live there. This community effort has led to local business owners planning to open an additional 3 restaurants along the route. The work of City Manager Arnaldo Rodriguez is providing multifamily housing and community upgrades around the corridor, which supports small business and the great downtown. I applaud the efforts of Caltrans District 6 Director, Michael Navarro. He is of this community and has worked with this community to implement their great vision. This project is an example of a working class community fighting for a come up that supports all of their neighbors. This is a great American story and exemplary of the soul of our state. I would like to publicly congratulate and thank Commissioner Eager for connecting me to this great story. The work of this commission and our partners support community efforts to grow the economy, support the working class and the environment. We should be proud of our collective efforts. Even during tough times, we still say, si se puede. Thank you. All right, now we're going to move on to item 8, CalSTA Deputy Secretary Christine Casey. Welcome, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. I'm Christine Casey, Deputy Secretary for Freight Policy at the California State Transportation Agency. I'm glad to be here with you today to share remarks on behalf of Secretary Omishakin and provide CalSTA report covering our core 4 priorities. First, we have an exciting staff update. Next slide, please. Congratulations and welcome to Tony Tinoco. Tony joined CalSTA last month as Assistant Deputy Secretary of Communications. In this role, she oversees public communications across our departments, boards, and authorities. This ensures consistent and effective messaging statewide. She's been a key part of the CalSTA family for quite some time. She served 10 years with the California High-Speed Rail Authority as Central Valley Deputy Regional Director and Acting Chief of Strategic Communications and External Affairs. She also managed the authority's Central Valley Training Center, a pre-apprenticeship program aimed at providing workforce training in partnership with the building trades. Earlier in her career, Tony was a radio reporter and news video editor in the Central Valley. She earned a Master of Public Administration and a Bachelor of Arts degree in Mass Communications with an emphasis in broadcast journalism from California State University, Fresno. We are thrilled to have her on board. Next slide, please. This is a photo from Climate Action New York Climate Week MOU signing with Kenya, for those that aren't able to see that. We have quite a few climate updates today. First, on our Sustainable Communities Task Force, or SCTF, held its inaugural meeting on September 10th. This 30-member task force focuses on urgent coordinated strategies to deliver on the promise of sustainable, thriving communities. This task force will produce a final report in November 2026 with recommendations for legislative, regulatory, and budgetary actions to support implementation of sustainable community strategies and meet statewide greenhouse gas and VMT reduction goals. The next meeting is October 29th in Davis, though virtual attendance is also an option. In other task force news, nearly 2 years flew by as we held our final Transit Transformation Task Force meeting on September 30th. In its final topics, the task force discussed transit funding along with service and fare coordination recommendations. The task force adopted 5 principles to transform transit in California, all aligned with the Core 4. CalSTA will complete and return the final report to the legislature by October 31st. In CAPTI news, Caltrans executive leadership provided a briefing on the development and prospective work plan for the director's policy on displacement as outlined in CAPTI 2.0 Action S 3.3. CalSTA will coordinate additional check-ins with Caltrans to discuss draft policy development and stakeholder engagement through the end of 2026. Late last month, Secretary Omishakin attended Climate Week in New York City. For those who are unfamiliar, Climate Week NYC is an annual global event that coincides with the United Nations General Assembly. It's an opportunity to showcase California's climate leadership while engaging with partners from around the world. It was a very productive week for CalSTA, which is code for apologies for the very long report ahead. One of the highlights from the week was an MOU signing with Kenya, which is the photo on the screen. This is work that our team at CalSTA has been driving for the last year. On behalf of the state of California, Secretary signed this climate and trade agreement with Lee Kinyanjui, Kenyan Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade, and Industry. This MOU represents a key milestone and outcome of our recent travel to Kenya with the California Africa Climate and Economic Delegation. And this MOU is historic. It's the state's first climate and economic agreement with an African national government. Secretary Omishakin also had the privilege of joining a meeting and MOU signing between California and Brazil. Alongside Governor Newsom and leadership from Cal EPA and the California Air Resources Board, they met with Brazilian Minister of Environment Marina Silva and her team to strengthen partnership aimed at reducing harmful pollution, protecting critical ecosystems, and building economies that work for people and our planet. In addition to these high-level and other closed-door meetings and bilateral discussions, the Secretary was also able to share California's leadership on key issues during participation in official events, including the Climate Registry's 2nd Annual California Climate Leadership Forum, the Under 2 Coalition's 2025 America's Ministerial, the Electric Innovation Award and Forum, and the C40 Cities closed-door discussion focused on port cities as clean energy hubs. Lastly, on Climate Week, also while in New York, the Secretary had the honor of attending the signing of an MOU between Autodesk's Chief Marketing Officer, Dara Tresetter, one of the delegates from our August visit to Africa, and Bosun Tijani, the Nigerian Minister of Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy. This collaboration with the Federal Republic of Nigeria represents a key tangible outcome of our August California-Africa Climate and Economic Delegation visit, which I mentioned earlier. From New York, the Secretary continued on to Italy to join leaders for the 9th edition Sea Future Conference to discuss high-speed rail, sustainable mobility, and transportation safety. This conference was hosted by Italy's Deputy Minister of Infrastructure and Transport, Edoardo Ricci. The visit was an opportunity for California, under the governor's leadership, to exchange ideas and build connections that move us forward. Thank you to the minister and the Italian consulate in San Francisco for making this visit possible. Next slide, please. This is a photo of recent CHP graduation. We have very exciting news on the safety front. Yesterday, October 15th, was a particularly big day. We held the signing of the first ever Joint Secretaries Policy on Road Safety. This was signed by both CalSTA and California Health and Human Services Agency secretaries. The policy establishes an interim goal to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes by 30% on California's roads by 2035, on our way to Vision Zero. It commits to institutionalizing the safe system approach across departments through a public health prevention first investment mindset that targets the root causes of traffic crashes. It aims to align planning, design, operations, and evaluation with the 3 key crash risk factors: exposure, likelihood, and severity. Part 2 of the big day was the unveiling of the State Priority Safety Corridor Initiative, a data-driven, prevention-first effort to reduce fatal and serious crashes on the state's roads. Led by CalSTA and CalHHS in partnership with local governments, the initiative begins with targeted improvements on Avalon Boulevard in Los Angeles, State Route 91 in southeastern LA County, and more to come on Varner Road in Thousand Palms in Riverside County. Guided by the Secretary's policy on road safety that I just mentioned, the program integrates infrastructure upgrades, public engagement, and enforcement to embed safety into transportation planning statewide. Together, these actions mark a new era for safety on California's roads, forging a promising path toward addressing the state's biggest traffic safety challenges with immediacy and meaningful results. The SAFE Task Force, Statewide Action for Facilitation on Encampments. Apologies, that was a really abrupt direction change. Here, SAFE Task Force is the next item. It was established by the governor in August 2025 to clear encampments and connect people with the care they need, working alongside local partners to address encampments on state right-of-way. The task force aggressively prioritizes and deploys California's comprehensive network of services to quickly remove encampments and help connect people with wraparound supportive services and shelter. The task force partners include the California Office of Emergency Services, Business, Consumer Services and Housing Agency, California Interagency Council on Homelessness, the California Health and Human Services Agency, and CalSTA. CalSTA is represented on the task force by CHP, Caltrans, and DMV, with each of their own individual roles. The SAFE Task Force will focus on areas with large encampments and high priority encampments on state right-of-way in California's 10 most populous cities: Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, San Diego, Sacramento, San Jose, Long Beach, Anaheim, Bakersfield, and Fresno. The task force has already conducted successful operations in San Francisco, LA, Anaheim, and San Diego. Related to the picture on the screen, congratulations to CHP's largest graduating class in nearly 16 years. On Friday, October 3rd, 146 cadets were sworn in as officers. They completed 26 weeks of rigorous training and are now ready to provide the highest level of safety, service, and security throughout California. As of 3 days ago, these officers are now reporting to one of CHP's 102 area offices around the state. Next slide, please. CalSTA continues to support activities that support equity in our transportation decisions, policies, and investments. Yesterday, the Interagency Equity Advisory Committee met here in Merced. We will hear updates from Committee Chair Martha Armas-Kelly later in the agenda. However, we wanted to amplify the leadership of this interagency group during these agency remarks. We are looking to the EAC to not just advise our agencies, but to champion Californians who depend on our transportation networks for their livelihoods and the work of the committee to day-to-day activities. CalSTA is appreciative of the diverse voices of our committee leadership supporting the interagency EAC at the CTC, Caltrans, and CalSTA. We recognize also that for every committee meeting, there are many hands that make these meetings go off without a hitch. We'd like to acknowledge these four in particular who are helping to shape the conversation statewide in ways that highlight the values of CalSTA. Chair Martha Armas-Kelly, Vice Chair Anna Gonzalez, Naomi Iwasaki, and Randy Torres Van Vleck. The latter two are subcommittee chairs of the EAC. I'd also like to thank Chair Armas-Kelly and committee member Carrie Hernandez-Akimi for their efforts in shepherding the EAC's mission and vision statement. It's foundational for our work ahead. We continue to encourage and promote the recruitment of new EAC members to the group, and please note the application period for the next cohort of EAC members closes on Sunday, October 19th. In California Integrated Travel Project news, the Bay Area Rapid Transit BART is now accepting payment by debit credit cards. This program is showing early signs of early success. Ticket vending machine sales at SFO were down by 40% after a week, and 5% of BART payments at the gates were already by debit or credit card within just 4 business days of the kickoff. We've seen that the highest number of entries and exits made by bank cards were recorded at San Francisco Airport, followed by downtown San Francisco stations. Next slide, please. I think this is our last of the core four for those who are counting. Progress does not slow down for high-speed rail. On September 19th, Governor Newsom signed legislation approving reauthorization of the Cap and Invest program, securing a historic commitment of $1 billion for the high-speed rail program annually through 2045. This action represents the largest guaranteed infusion of funding to date. It resolves all identified funding gaps for the 171-mile Merced to Bakersfield line and opens the door for meaningful public-private engagement with the program. The authority looks forward to working with the legislature to advance several opportunities for the state to support the project going forward. On July 31st, the authority, local, and state leaders celebrated the completion of the Tulare Street grade separation project with a ribbon-cutting ceremony in Fresno's historic Chinatown. The Tulare Street underpass and grade separation project is located between G and H streets between downtown and Fresno's Chinatown. This grade separation now takes vehicular traffic more than 20 feet below the Union Pacific and future high-speed rail tracks. It serves as a 2-lane roadway spanning more than 1,000 feet and 60 feet wide, with pedestrian access and bike lanes for residents and bicyclists. The authority's supplemental project update report, issued in August, puts forth a clear path, contingent on dedicated funding, to connect the high-speed rail system to Northern and Southern California via the Central Valley by 2039 to achieve commercial success at the earliest possible stage. In the report, the authority lays out 3 high-speed rail business case scenarios. These scenarios include preliminary cost estimates, ridership and revenue projections, and funding requirements. And these 3 business cases are Merced to Bakersfield, San Francisco Gilroy to Bakersfield, and San Francisco Gilroy to Palmdale. In addition, we have provided options for consideration that include variable sequence for the build-out of the Merced extension. That is the end of my report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Christine. Is there any public comment on this item?
There's no public comment. Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions from the dais? All right. Well, we appreciate you being here. Thanks for the, oh, yes, Commissioner Cruz. Apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank Christine and her report, but also want to reiterate the governor's commitment to high-speed rail through Cap and Invest. That was a very important decision that was made in the legislature to continue that project and continue funding that project in the Central Valley, not just for the quality of life benefits and the environmental stewardship that project will create at some point, but also the economic value that it brings to the Central Valley. And we're seeing firsthand the progress being made with that project. But also want to thank you and your commitment to safety. Safety is obviously very important to this commission. And the governor recently signed AB 289, which establishes automated speed enforcement pilot program in active construction zones, which I think, and most of us think, will be a game changer, and will build that program out to not just protect the traveling public, but also protect the construction workers and maintenance workers who are on those systems every single day. So thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Cruz. +1 and all of that. Any other comments, questions? Thank you.
Thank
Christine.
you.
So we're going to move on to item 9, Caltrans Director Dina El-Tawanzi.
Good afternoon, Chair Grisby, Vice Chair Falcone, Commissioners and Commissioner staff. I'm Dina El-Tawanzi, Caltrans Director, and thank you for the opportunity to provide the department's update. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, today's update starts on a somber note, a recent tragedy that occurred within our Caltrans family. On September 18, Caltrans engineer Mahdi Quram was struck and killed while working in a construction zone on Highway 4 in Contra Costa County. Mahdi was working out of our Concord construction office, and he had joined our team in Caltrans in 2023. He was a valued member of our construction office. and he has just earned his professional engineering license and was ready to become a resident engineer. Mahdi was known for his dedication to safety and the professionalism that he brought to every project. He leaves behind a loving wife and a 3-year-old daughter. This loss is heartbreaking for all of us, especially the District 4 team members who have known him and worked along his side. This tragic incident is yet just another painful reminder of the importance of the work zone safety and the shared responsibility that all of us have to provide protection to all those who build, operate, and maintain our state transportation system. In support of Mahdi's family, the California Transportation Foundation has established a memorial fund, and a QR code is shown here for those of you that wish to learn more. Please keep his family, friends, and coworkers in your thoughts and prayers. Next slide, please. Turning now to some of our regional efforts, I want to highlight an important initiative that brings together several Western states to strengthen emergency coordination across shared transportation corridors. Last month, representatives from California, Nevada, Arizona, and Utah gathered in Nevada for a multi-state transportation emergency coordination workshop. This was hosted by the Nevada Department of Transportation. The workshop brought together leaders and technical experts from each state's Department of Transportation, emergency management, law enforcement, and fire services. It included various participants from Caltrans leadership, Caltrans maintenance and public affairs team. The shared vision was one of improving coordination, communication, and operational synchronization during a large-scale incident that impacted travel between states. The idea of this partnership came after a July 2024 incident in District 8 on Interstate 15 near Baker. This is located right by the California-Nevada state line. A truck carrying lithium-ion batteries caught fire, halting travel and traffic during sweltering heat and promoting a massive incident response effort from Caltrans and our state partners. By developing a multi-state partnership that goes beyond traditional mutual aid agreements and that emphasizes cross-state coordination and resource sharing, we can reduce incident response time, minimize secondary impacts, and keep vital freight and passenger corridors moving safely. This collaboration is critical not only for safety of the traveling public, but also for the economic health of the Western region, as those interstate routes serve as major arteries for good movements, tourism, and regional commerce. Next slide, please. Caltrans is more than just, next slide, please. Caltrans is more than a transportation department. We are also an employer, bringing jobs to many communities throughout the state. It is with that mindset that we strive to make progress in areas like workforce development, business partnerships, and innovations that provide both operational and community improvements. One area of recent success is our Heavy Equipment Operator Academy, which continues to strengthen California's construction workforce. In July and August, the North Region held its first HEO Academy, graduating another 20 participants in a new statewide program. Across all 4 academies that we've held so far, we have achieved a 99% graduation rate and nearly 60% of graduates now working in heavy highway construction. The next academy begins next month, the next academy begins later this month in Fresno County, bringing together local education and industry partners to prepare another diverse group of Californians for skilled careers in transportation. Also this summer, Caltrans hosted the National Summer Transportation Institute at Cal Poly Pomona and Cal State LA, giving 74 high school students an insight look on transportation careers, such as engineering and aviation. The goal is to inspire the next generation of transportation professionals, especially from underserved communities. Finally, Caltrans recently launched the Caltrans Contracting Opportunities Portal, a one-stop platform that brings together construction contract opportunities from across the department and the state's e-procure system. The portal enhances transparency, simplifies navigation of contracts, and supports equitable access to California's multi-billion-dollar infrastructure industry. Future enhancement will include AI-powered support and integration with additional procurement resources. Each of these efforts reflect Caltrans' commitment to invest not just in projects, but in people, partnership, and opportunities. Next slide. I just want to also highlight a couple of leadership additions to our team. Caltrans has recently welcomed 2 new leaders in key roles supporting the department's mission and statewide priorities. Governor Gavin Newsom has appointed Hafsa Keka as a special advisor on homelessness and encampment at Caltrans. Hafsa brings extensive experience in homelessness policy and intergovernmental coordination, most recently serving as a senior advisor on homelessness in the governor's office. She previously led homelessness strategies in cities of San Diego and city of Riverside and city of Santa Ana, and held leadership positions with the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority and several nonprofit organizations. We're very excited to have Hafsa on board. In addition, Ryan Dermody has been appointed as an acting chief deputy director for the department following the retirement of Mike Keever. Ryan has served as a District 9 director since 2020 and brings more than 2 decades of experience in planning, environmental analysis, and leadership development. He also recently served as a special advisor to the director in May and June of this year. Please join me in welcoming Hafsa and Ryan to their new roles. Next slide, please. I want to thank you for the time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director. Is there any public comment on this item?
There's no public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the dais? Vice Chair Falcon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Dina, for your update. And please accept our deepest condolences for the loss of your worker engineer, Madi Kora. And if we may, Mr. Chair, if we can adjourn in memory, his memory.
That would be highly
Okay.
appropriate. Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And then congratulations to Ryan Dermody. Good to see him elevated to acting chief, as well as Hafsa Kaka. I know her and have worked with her when she was working for the city of San Diego under the office of Mayor Todd Gloria, and great to see her with the state family, and look forward to working with her. Hopefully she's listening and will reach out. It's not easy work that she's doing, and we know that there are a lot of jurisdictions that are trying to really address this, and inevitably, we have to work together with Caltrans on these shared challenges as it relates to our unhoused and where we can house them. So congratulations to her, and thank you again for your update.
Thanks, Vice Chair. Thank you, Dina. Always appreciate your reports. Moving on to, actually, item 10 has been withdrawn. I'll state that for the record. Next up is item 11, Regional Agencies Moderator, Louis Thao.
Good
Hi.
morning, Chair Grisby, Vice Chair Falcone, Chief Deputy Executive Director, I'm going to try to pronounce your last name, sorry, Golazewski, and Commissioners. My name is Louis Zhao with OCTA, and I'm this year's RTPA moderator. The RTPAs met yesterday and were graciously hosted by the Merced County Association of Governments. We had a productive meeting with a number of topics, but I want to highlight a few for all of you. The regions continue to monitor the revocation of California's vehicle emissions waiver, which may significantly impact the Federal Transportation Improvement Program and regional transportation plans. This situation could result in project delays and challenges accessing critical funding needed to support essential transportation projects, including SHOP-funded projects. The RTPAs do wish to thank CTC, Caltrans, CARB, and CalCog for their ongoing work in trying to resolve this issue. In particular, I do want to thank the leadership of Laura Pennebaker, Cherry Zamora, Benda Alba from Caltrans, Nesamani Kalandur from CARB, and Sabrina Bradbury from CalCog, in collaborating with the RTPAs and state partners to identify solutions. Caltrans also provided an update to the Director's Transit Policy, which outlines the department's commitment to supporting transit projects on the state highway system. The RTPAs wish to express support for advancing strategies that can enhance transit services and look forward to continuing engagement with Caltrans and the transit operators. We do want to emphasize the importance of co-developing strategies with the regions, transit partners, and local agencies, ensuring consistency with the regional transportation plans and the sustainable community strategies, and tailoring approaches to a local context, as there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Finally, we also received an update from Caltrans on the disadvantaged businesses interim final rule. The RTPAs received an update from Caltrans on this, which introduces substantial changes to the DBA policy and the certification requirements and compliance requirements. The updated guidance requires previously certified firms to undergo recertification under new rules. While contracts awarded are not affected, federally funded projects currently in the process of procurement that met prior DBE requirements may need to be re-advertised. This could affect timely delivery of existing CTC funded federal projects and cause project delays. RTPAs appreciate the CTC and Caltrans staff and are proactively collaborating with project partners to minimize schedule impacts and explore schedule extension options where necessary and feasible. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Just want to thank you for bringing up the conformity issue and the DB issues. Very important. Any public comment?
There is no public comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments from the dais? I hear none. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Next up is item 12, Aaron Hoyt, Rural Counties Task Force Chair. Morning. I should say afternoon, I should say.
Yes, definitely a good afternoon. Chair Grisby, Vice Chair Falcone, Commissioners, and Chief Deputy Director G. I'm going to stop there with that one. Although I think I could pronounce it. I'll save it for later. My name is Aaron Hoyt. I'm the Deputy Executive Director for the Nevada County Transportation Commission and Chair for the Rural Counties Task Force, representing the 26 rural regional transportation planning agencies and local transportation commissions in the state. I'm not sure if this is a fun fact or not, but I thought I'd share it. I grew up less than 10 miles from here, right near the inland port that you guys visited earlier today. Was a former Blue Devil at Merced College and spent a lot of time here in Merced. I'm proud to see the investments that have gone into downtown Merced and for the great opportunity the county has had to host the CTC today. The last time our CTF met with Caltrans and CTC staff was on September 19th, and we heard a number of informative updates. I want to thank Allison Joe from CalSTA for the presentation on the Sustainable Communities Task Force. I know that many of the rural RTPAs are not part of the task force or even required to participate in developing sustainable community strategy, but we felt it was a great opportunity to understand where the state's going with the task force and whether or not there's any strategies that may filter down or what can we do to help. I'd also like to thank Meenakshi Raval from Caltrans for sharing an update on the revised CSIS CAPTI metrics. I think there's still some concerns from partners about how they'll compete under the metrics. And I think it's really because it was such a highly technical presentation that we had and concepts to understand. So with some additional conversations, I think we can better understand it. But what's really important here is that the partnerships and support letters that we can receive from Caltrans is highly important for competing with these funds within the various SB1 programs. And a final thank you, I just want to say to Jesse Downing from Caltrans for sharing a status update also on the Director's Policy on Transit. The RCTF members look forward to the implementation phase of the policy and to elevate our partnerships that we already have with our districts and our transit providers, but be able to streamline improvements on the state highway system that runs through our communities. One upcoming item that I'll be following is a draft ITIP and public hearing. The ITIP has served as an important funding source to be able to fully fund improvements on the state highway system in our rural communities that connect the urban and the rural regions together. The partnerships, again, are with our districts and the ITIP funding are extremely important due to the limited STIP shares that rural RTPAs receive. So in closing, I just want to say we're always thankful and appreciative of CTC staff and Caltrans staff for the presentations to the Rural Communities Task Force. So that will be my closing today. And again, I thank you for the opportunity to present.
Thank you. Any public comment?
There is no public comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments from the dais? All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Next up, Self-Help Counties Coalition Executive Director, Keith Dunn. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners and Directors. Keith Dunn, Executive Director of Self-Help Counties Coalition. I'm pleased to be here today. It's been a while since I've had the pleasure of addressing you in person. I am happy to report that we have our annual Focus on the Future conference coming up in second week in November. Hopefully you all and members of the audience will be able to join us to have some important discussions. I want to highlight a couple of successes that have taken place this year and thank the administration, Governor Newsom, and the legislature specifically for their leadership in extending the CAP and what we're calling now CAP and Extend program beyond the high-speed rail program that is going to be a major part of lifting up this valley. It also has other components that are going to help our regional transit as well as other disadvantaged communities and programs that go beyond just transportation, but to really uplift the impacted folks and communities within our state. I want to bring that up. It's been mentioned before, but I also want to mention the fact that that program didn't happen with great ease. That program took a lot of lift and a lot of effort, not only from elected officials, but from many of you on the dais and some folks in the audience, myself as well. And I say that with the backdrop of we have a federal government at the moment who is actively trying to make our jobs more difficult. That is what it is, and we're all working to find those solutions. But I want to remind folks that as we have those discussions locally, the self-help counties, which go to our citizens and ask them for their faith and good credit to go out and build and partner with the state, and we hope someday again with the federal government to deliver these infrastructure projects that we're all talking about. Those discussions are more important now than they ever have been before. We're going to have a number of opportunities to have those civil discourses within our state, regions, cities, and counties. And I would encourage all of you that as you get those opportunities to speak, if you have questions, concerns, or would like to make some comments, reach out to myself. I know some of the commissioners here today are actively engaged in those discussions as well. But I will tell you in my 25 years of experience, there's not a more important time than now to be actively engaged in your communities, to talk about the need, the generational impact of not only, the funding's great and important, but what we see it as it comes and delivers those changes. And again, we're at a pivotal point in our state's history. And I just really want to take a time to highlight that, because being silent is no longer an option. And there are those that have different agendas that I think will make all of our lives less convenient, less safe, and more challenging. So I want to take the time to publicly state that I appreciate all of your hard work. I know many of you spend time in the legislature making sure that the policies that you have the opportunity to participate on here today are implemented correctly. The self-help counties, all 25, stand as your partners. Again, I'll say the CTC staff, all of you are the best staff in the state. You are always responsive, you know your material, and are great to work with. Caltrans as well. We look forward to continuing those partnerships, but it doesn't happen by accident. So as you get those calls, challenges to action, meet the moment. And we will be right there with you. So with that, I would just say thank you for the opportunity and look forward to working with you all moving forward.
Thank you. Appreciate your remarks. This is in fact a critical time. Any public comment?
No public comment. Thank you.
Commissioner Cruz.
I'll be brief. Thanks, Keith, and appreciate your hard work on Cap Invest. But also want to point out that we are in a county that is self-help, Merced. And I know it wasn't easy. I was here in 2006 with Measure C, and then subsequently in 2016, they passed Measure V. It's a testament to the Central Valley folks who are resilient and understand that they have to generate their own local sales tax measure to match state and federal dollars, especially now. But Merced did it. We're hopeful that other Central Valley counties can tee up their sales tax measures as well in the near future. But this is a good example of what you have to do to move big projects into Central Valley. So thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to, for the record, state for such an older man who's been here since '06, Commissioner Cruz looks pretty okay. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
For the chair.
Oh, yes, Commissioner Bradshaw.
I mean no offense to the rural counties, uplift them too, but I want to throw some flowers, to my friend Keith, and give you a little
Thanks.
applause
Thank you.
for your mobilizations and the teamwork, Keith, honestly, sincerely. So mission driven and at the spear point often, and speaking from working class organization perspective, it is crucial that we tighten those bonds and keep working.
Well, I would just say that we have a wonderful team led here by the commissioners and commission staff, but also some of our other organizations that bring up the blue collar workers. The blue collar workers, the ones who are out delivering those programs, really are the mission and the citizens that use those facilities. So thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Bradshaw. Very important to support the working class. Any other comments, questions? So next up is item 14. This is an action item. I would like to have Sequoia, Lisa, Martha, Terry. Hi.
Good afternoon. Chair, or Ms. Kelly, I'm going to introduce the item and then I'll pass it to you.
Okay,
Thank you. So Commissioners, tab 14 is an action item that includes 3 parts. Welcoming and introductory remarks from our Interagency Equity Advisory Committee Chair, our Ms. Kelly, followed by member Lisa Marie Alvarado. Number 2, updates from staff on activities and outcomes related to committee advisory opportunities. And finally, number 3, a brief presentation and recommendation for the commission to approve the Interagency Equity Advisory Committee's mission, vision, and foundational principles for transportation equity, with whom I will share with Chair Armis Kelly and member Carrie Akimi Hernandez. So I'll pass it to you, Equity Advisory Committee Chair Martha Armis Kelly. Good afternoon, Commissioners, city officials, dignitaries, and beloved members of the Merced community. It is a profound privilege to stand before you today, not only as the chair of the Equity Advisory Committee, but as a proud daughter of Merced, California. Today marks a special moment. I am thrilled to present our Equity Advisory's vision and mission statement along with the progress we have made. This is not your average 2-sentence declaration. It is a living document, one that includes guiding principles and a visual component that reflects the heart of the work that our communities in which we serve. Transportation for many is the pathway to economic development, sustainability, health, and vitality. But here in Merced, transportation has been more than just a system. It has shaped our very existence. It has defined how we connect, how we grow, and how we survive. We are honored by your presence. Our small but mighty community of 98,000 residents has had the opportunity to host you this week. Your visit has brought economic energy to our hotels, restaurants, and local businesses. But more importantly, you've brought something that cannot be measured in dollars: validation. Your presence tells us that the state sees us, that it cares about our roads, our infrastructure, and our well-being. That governance does not only happen in Sacramento, it happens here in the streets and the neighborhoods of Merced County. And by coming here, you allow us to show you firsthand the importance of infrastructure, of our growth, and equitable transportation. Merced is a vibrant, biodiverse community. We are the home of Hispanics, Hmongs, Lao, Mien, and Sikh cultures. We are indigenous people, we are immigrants, we are transplants, we are from all over the world. We here are families, workers, elders, and youth, all bound together by shared hopes and the love of this land. Safety is paramount. Safe roads and causeways are essential for moving goods, reaching our homes, accessing health care, or just simply living with dignity. It is my hope and my commitment that as the Equity Advisory continues to make bold recommendations, we will continue to uplift communities like Merced and others along the 99 corridor. Transportation is more than just movement. It is a connection. It intersects health, housing, economic development, and environmental justice. But we know that without intention, it can also divide, harm, and exclude. That's why our Equity Advisory Committee exists through your efforts to ensure that we grow, that we do so with safety, sustainability, and healthy living as our guiding tenets. The work we put into the equity mission reflects these principles. We are not just making recommendations for best practices, we are setting a precedent. A precedent where inclusion and equity are not just aspirations, but they are the very class of our influence. Through our collaboration with Caltrans, CalSTAT, and the CTC, we aim to prove and provide real contributions to projects yet to come. This past year as your chair has been deeply meaningful. We have brought finally a document that reflects vision that we hold for transportation in California, a vision rooted in equity, inclusion, and sustainability. This month, you will be having the opportunity to adopt this formally, and that is today. And we hope that we leave a legacy, a blueprint for future members to follow, one that honors the voices of our community and the promise of more than just California, that this will extend to further areas across the regions. Before I close, I want to offer you a heartfelt thank you and to the staff and supporting teams that have worked alongside of us throughout this journey. We didn't know what it was going to look like 3 years ago, and it's just vibrant and as alive as it was the first day. Your countless recommendations, your generous advice have shaped me and others in ways that we could not have imagined. What you offered was not just expertise, but mentorship. And your willingness to share rather than to silo speaks volumes about the kind of leadership we need in this work. Succession is vital, and I hope that through my role in the EAC, someone in my little community or for another community, maybe small but mighty along the 99 corridor, will see that they too have a voice, that they belong in these rooms, in this space, and that they can shape the future of California. As my term is coming to an end soon, I look forward to our next meeting where we will share the accomplishments that we have achieved together. But for now, I welcome you to Merced. I welcome you to Merced. This is my hometown, and I'm so honored that you guys came here. And I hope you enjoy your evening here. I hope you feel the spirit of our community as deeply as I do, because I will always remember this day when the state came to Merced. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Armis Kelly. Next, we'll hear from Equity Advisory Committee member Lisa Marie Alvarado. Thank you.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much. I'm going to talk a little bit about me, a little bit about we, and a little bit about what I see. As you can tell, we're polished and got great leadership. A little bit about me. I'm Lisa Alvarado, located down south in Visalia, California. I ride a bike in Exeter, California. So when we talk about liquidity and putting everyday folks in positions of power, you're looking at it within the IEAC. What do we work on? Recently, we worked on SB 1. What does that mean in terms of political progress? What does that mean in terms of building democracy for folks like us? I heard from Beverly Mitchell. I asked her, what did we contribute as IEAC members as we're critiquing some of these proposals? What she shared, and I quote, "We're encouraging exploration." How beautiful. We, this elected body, with the help of the IEAC, are encouraging exploration. That is a seat of innovation. We are doing that. I'd also feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't say we're holding the line. I have 18 years in community organizing, and as somebody who's constantly advocating for justice, I feel like those of us reading those proposals are able to say, we love this, but we're not cutting it. So be proud that you have people that are holding that boundary. A lot of the hard conversations that we talk about in policy include naming that we're holding that boundary. What do I see? I see a culture of care. You heard from our chair. We really do care. We are making difficult decisions with intention to hold the line. So thank you so much for investing in this elected body. Thank you so much for giving us the time to speak back to you, the work that we're collectively doing together. And thank you so much to the team behind the scenes that are giving us power to give words. Thanks.
All right, we have 4 minutes because my computer just told me it's going to restart. Um, so thank you to both of you for those thoughtful remarks. I'll now move into my equity updates, followed by the mission and vision portion of the presentation. So, excuse me. I'll start by providing a quick overview of the recent advisory opportunities that the committee has been involved in. Can I use your computer? Pardon me. Okay, so the application period for the 2026-2028, as we heard, term of the Interagency Equity Advisory Committee will close on Sunday, October 19th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. 3 seats are open for individuals interested in serving a 2-year term as a member of the committee, and new terms begin in February 2026. Interested individuals can apply online and find the form on the Commission's website or as part of the meeting materials for this item. As part of the Commission-related activities, members have supported SB1 competitive programs. Committee members who reviewed the community engagement narratives, as mentioned, in project applications for the Commission's Senate Bill 1 competitive programs 4th cycle held debriefs this month with SB1 program managers. This dialogue will improve how the committee engages with program guidelines and application review in the future. Additionally, beginning this fall, an EAC member will serve as a liaison and subject matter expert with the Active Transportation Program Technical Advisory Committee, which that placement was approved at yesterday's meeting of the Equity Advisory Committee. Additionally, the Active Transportation Program has started updating guidelines for the 2027 ATP or Cycle 8 of the program, and Commission staff will hold briefings in November with EAC members to discuss feedback on the guidelines with committee members. Additionally, regarding the comprehensive multimodal corridor plan guidelines, program staff held briefings for committee members on the multimodal corridor plan guidelines. Members were asked to provide written comments with their feedback on the guidelines, and staff shared the feedback received with the Transportation Planning and Program Guidance Subcommittee. Draft guidelines include committee member feedback are being presented today at the meeting with final adoption anticipated in December 2025. EAC members have also been actively involved in advisory opportunities presented by our interagency colleagues at Caltrans, including with the statewide community engagement playbook. This playbook will document best practices for Caltrans planning and project development to support institutionalizing meaningful community engagement practices with the department. The Community Engagement Policies and Practices Subcommittee received 2 presentations on the playbook, and members were asked to provide feedback that will inform the final version with anticipated completion in spring 2026. Additionally, members continued to be involved in the Equity Index use case development. The Data Implementation Subcommittee has been engaged on the Equity Index, also known as EQI. The EQI is a spatial screening tool designed to identify transportation-based priority populations at the census block level. Subcommittee members will inform the implementation of the EQI, including the development and review of both internal and external use cases. The EQI is expected to improve Caltrans' analysis of project impacts and improve project planning, development, and design, as well as for other transportation agencies and community partners. Caltrans staff will engage with the Data Implementation Subcommittee in November with opportunities to inform use case development, and collaboration with the subcommittee will continue through 2026. Additional opportunities for engagement with Caltrans include engagement with the Director's Policy on Public Transit, which was brought to the Transportation Planning and Program Guidance Subcommittee. And the transit policy will provide high-level, long-range direction to Caltrans on transit-related activities, including improvements to transit facilities on that state highway system, enhanced state collaboration in transit planning, and modernization of transit data and technology. And finally, members have been involved with the Federal Transit Administration 5310, Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disability, also known as FTA 5310. This program improves the mobility of seniors and individuals with disabilities by removing barriers to transportation services and expanding the transportation options available to meet the specialized transportation need. Caltrans assembled a state review committee consisting of advocates, users of 5310 services, and other interested parties to review project applications. And Caltrans extended an invitation to committee members to participate in the review committee for the 2025 grant cycle. And we're pleased to have 5 committee members who signed up to serve on that committee. The scoring took place in late September, and we are grateful for their work on that. That includes my updates on advisory opportunities and outcomes that the committee has participated in. I'll now move on to the action portion of this item, focus on commission approval of the committee's vision, mission, and foundational principles for transportation equity. And I have a few slides to share. Great, thank you. So I share the podium with our members, Armis Kelly and Carrie Aquino Hernandez, who served as very important and influential subject matter experts on this process. And again, just really appreciate their commitment to helping us get over the finish line. So next slide, please. On September 5th, 2025, the committee officially approved these guiding statements. They represent a shared purpose and will help steer the committee's work across all 3 agencies moving forward. Next slide, please. Between April and August 2025, Chair Armis Kelly and member Kemi Hernandez led a collaborative drafting process with input from committee members, agency leadership, and commissioners. Through workshops, surveys, and robust discussion, the group refined the language to reflect the committee's collective values and principles. Next slide, please. The final framework emphasizes safety for people of all ages and abilities, economic opportunity, including local job creation and living wages, disability access and rural infrastructure, acknowledgement of historical harms and systemic disinvestment, clean transportation, shared mobility, and responsible resource use. And finally, equity in land use, housing, and community well-being. Next slide, please. These statements were finalized by the committee and approved by executive leadership from all 3 agencies. Commissioners, this is an action item, and we recommend the commission approve the Equity Advisory Committee's vision, mission, and foundational principles for transportation equity. Approval will establish a unified framework to guide the committee's advisory role to the Commission, Caltrans, and CalSTA, ensuring that our work moves forward with a clear and consistent foundation. That concludes my presentation, and we'll take any comments or questions as needed. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sequoia, and congrats to all the great work that you put in, and the effort that you're putting in is so important these days. So thank you. Any questions, comments from the dais? I see Commissioner Gardino raising his mic. Was that a?
I'm happy to wait for the public comment, but thank you for recognizing the movement of my mind.
All good. Okay. So I know we have some public comment. Let's go online first.
To start online comment, I'd like to call on Anna Gonzalez. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Ana Gonzalez, Vice Chair of the EAC. I just wanted to congratulate my fellow colleagues and the CTC for getting us to this step finally after so much work. I want to thank the staff for having so much patience with us and the two expert subject matter, colleagues, Martha and Akimi. I'm so proud of both of you, and I just wanted to support this item and hope that you all support this item unanimously. So thank you all for this opportunity. It's been a great, great journey at the EAC. Thank you.
There's no other online public comment.
All right, thank you so much. Since we're on public comment, I'm going to go ahead and call up the card that I have here. Karthik Prasad from Congressman Adam Gray's office. Pleasure to have you here.
Oh, good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Karthik Prasad here on behalf of Congressman Adam Gray, and I'm actually here to present certificates to two members of the Interagency Equity Advisory Committee. One of the main reasons we all get together and present certificates in the first place is to honor members of our community and shine a light on the work they do. And it's for that very reason I'm here to present to Martha Armas Kelly and Carrie Akemi Hernandez these certificates of special congressional recognition highlighting their work, developing the vision, guiding principles, and mission statement of the Interagency Equity Advisory Committee. On behalf of Congressman Adam Gray and the United States House of Representatives, thank you for your invaluable service to our community.
No, you're good. This is a 17. So I've got. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Good. Great. Thank you.
I just wanted to take a moment. Chair wanted to allow me to say a few words. So, Chair, Vice Chair, those in the audience, rest of Commission, staff, my EAC colleagues, I just wanted to take a moment to say that on Monday, October 13th, was Indigenous Peoples Day. So I was born in 1978. That year was the year that was granted our freedom to be recognized in community safely as Native Americans. 1924 was the year that we were granted citizenship here. I'm Haudenosaunee. If you all aren't familiar with that, we helped inspire the Constitution. So knowing that I collaborated to words that are going to be providing equity across the state to the three agencies is vitally important. So thank you for this time and space, and for the leaders that have already paved the way for me to have space. And I'd like to dedicate this to my grandma and my children and grandchildren and community. Thank you all so much.
Hi. Well, I too want to thank my community and this beautiful body that exists here around us for all of what you've done. You've shaped. I've been in this journey for about 3 years, starting as a member, then vice chair, and now chair. And I know that the leadership that follows is going to be extraordinary. But these are the things that build faith and integrity in what we do. To be able to have that space, to be able to speak our truth, and be intentional about what we believe in. And in this city hall right here, we had our first Native peoples acknowledgement. And in the work that I've been able to accomplish, we've had our Native Indigenous people acknowledgement, our land acknowledgement. And we are sitting right now on Yokuts and Miwok's territories. And I honor that space. I honor these people that came before me and the people that are to come. California is rich, and we may be facing some strain in what we're doing, but I have such faith in the resiliency of this state and the people that I've encountered. And it isn't until you actually get to stand side by side a person that's in the institution, so to speak, as a community leader. Man, you guys have such heart, and to be able to navigate and vacillate in the spaces and the confined rules that you do and still have heart and integrity for the people that you serve. I'm honored to receive this from all of us. And we hope that we just do justice for what you've allowed us to participate in. So thank you.
So now we can turn to questions from the dais. Anyone like to make a comment? Vice Chair Falcone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and bravo to all of you. Chair Ms. Kelly, I have really observed all the work that you have all done through the years with your colleagues, some that have continued on and some that have stepped out of the AC, but they contributed a lot, and folks coming in. And you're right, it is a work of heart. Listening to your draft framework back in May, I was amazed at how you distill all of the needs of the state and try to bring more equity and thoughtful and honest conversation about how we invest in mobility in this state and how we invest in our people. It's, it's probably taken quite a bit to get here, but it's for good reason because it's a lot of work, right? And so congratulations to you all and to staff for really guiding this process. I know, you had countless number of meetings, subcommittee meetings, and it's a lot of work. And we really appreciate the work that you do. You have cultivated this document, but you've already been doing the work through the years and really helping guide us in our decision making and guideline crafting. And so we really appreciate, really, you have all rolled up your sleeves and have done some hard work. So kudos to all of you. It's very much appreciated by this body. And we look forward to your continued work and implementation of this framework. And so well done.
All right.
I do have a quick comment.
I have an order here.
Oh,
So I'm going to
there's
go
something else.
to Commissioner Lugo first, and then Commissioner Gardino, and then you.
Okay.
Commissioner Lugo.
All right, thank you, Chair. I'm going to assume my voice is coming through. Maybe you can confirm for me. I haven't gone off mute in this meeting space yet. Yes, I can be heard?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. Okay. Well, just echoing everybody else's comments, and I really regret that I had to join remotely this month because missing out on the opportunity to spend time in Merced with Martha and see it through her lens is something really special, and I am so glad that you all get to be there to do that. Congratulations on the award to both of you. That is so cool. And yeah, just I so appreciate the love and the warmth and the heart that you all are bringing to this space that we get to be part of. So thank you. And one comment, really appreciate the principles. I really just love the obvious, very thoughtful, good work that went into creating them. And I also really appreciate that there is a definition section. And I wanted to suggest that another definition that could be included is for mobility justice. Because I know that that's a term that, you know, we find useful and valuable, but it can also be sort of left undefined and less clear. So that might be a good one to include in the definitions as well. Thank you all for your hard work from the EAC on this.
Thank you. And it's a living document. So yes, I'm sure that we can probably adopt that as well.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Lugo. Now I'm going to go to Commissioner Gardino and then Commissioner Eager.
Chair Grisby, thank you. I really just wanted to take a moment, not to make the motion. I think that would be better done by others because so many of you worked so closely with our EAC leadership and with Sequoia on this document. But I wanted to just take the opportunity to thank Sequoia for all the work she has done to make this possible.
If you don't mind, also our colleagues at Caltrans, Carolyn Abrams, can be all involved. Sasha Linker from Commission, very critical in this. Thank you.
And Martha Nakimi, thank you so much for your leadership and the passion and professionalism and persistence and patience all combined that you have put into this document. Similar to my colleague Adonia, I loved the way you called out different key areas of focus like partnership and collaboration and community practices and safety. For me, as I read this, it made it such a more substantive and rich and inspiring document that you have put together. And I just wanted to recognize and thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Commissioner Eager, then Commissioner Bradshaw.
Yeah, just very quickly, congratulations to all of you. I know the time and effort and heart that it went in to put this document together. And Martha, you have been a breath of fresh air in this committee and making sure that people keep on track and keep focused. So I want to say a special thank you to you. And I don't know if she's listening, but I do want to acknowledge a really heartfelt thank you to prior Commissioner Hillary Norton. When she was chair, you know, getting this committee on track, we were able to approve it after she left, but it was really a lot of her effort. So Hillary, if you're out there, we want to thank you, and it came to fruition, and the work that everybody put in together, we can see it now, and I can see it in this document, and as you said, a living document that we can keep building on. So thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Next up is Commissioner Bradshaw, then Commissioner Mann.
Good afternoon. Great job, members. I'm honored to be with you today. I agree with what's already been said with laying out the vision, but I would see also, call it an organizing lens, trying to build unity lens, a foundation to build upon and keep evolving and pivot and move. Equity is so crucial. Maybe a little bit of a different perspective. You know, I've spent most of my life as an organizer. I'm proud to come of the working class, and as people are talking about their experiences with the 99 corridor, I lived for a time in this is not a complaint. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not overly proud of it, but going to Early Mart Elementary School and living in a trailer there, and actually a real community there when I was young. But, you know, in my day job, I'm honored to serve 36,000 co-openers in Northern California. And we are mission driven to do whatever we can to build unity. And I try to bring some of that to this commission as well. And maybe to point out the obvious, there are forces that I believe want to import hate and division into our state and into our communities. And I believe it's up to all of us, wherever we can, to find partnership and collaboration, to pull each other up, find ways through differences and find the common ground and unite. I left a meeting in Las Vegas. We have a very large center out there, and the purpose of that meeting was to build unity and break down divisions across all identification, race, background, sex. And something that comes out of that is if you take 5 workers or 5 communities and you pull them together, it tends to be a stronger bond. So keep pulling together, keep helping us pull together, and we'll all rise together for our state and leave none out. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Commissioner Bradshaw. Commissioner Mann.
Thank you. And I'll echo the comments of my fellow commissioners. You know, this is a really, congratulations to you. This is an exciting moment. I know a lot of time and energy went into all of this, a great deal of collaboration, back and forth conversations. And so thank you for persevering. And I just wanted to appreciate the level of heart, focus, grace, expertise, and compassion that has gone into this work. So thank you for all of your dedication to it, to Chair Armis Kelly, to Member Kemi Hernandez, and everyone else who's been part of this. And thank you, Sequoia, for ushering all of this work through and to helping to facilitate such great, wonderful conversations and efforts, and really also appreciate the partnership and the dedication of all of the other agencies that have worked on this and the time that's gone into it. This type of work is really challenging. It's hard to kind of come together, especially when you're trying to reach agreement on levels of shared understanding, but it also is an example of what we just need more of. So thank you for all being wonderful models and examples of what we want to see more of in the world. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mann. Any other comments or questions from the dais? Just wanted to echo everything that everyone said, and you can feel the heart in the room, and from those online as well. And it's across racial and economic background. Equity means everyone, and love the work that you've done. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Well, I want to say that everyone here should give themselves an applause, because we would not have been able to do what we do had you not taken us in a corner and said, this is what a Shero is, or this is what a rumble strip is, or this is what this means. And you guys have all been very welcoming. Matthew, just coffee times. I want to thank you with all my heart for all the things that you have done, because it's been a learning process, and I'm grateful to all of you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we are one state.
And we're still looking for a motion, but I didn't feel
forgot
worthy
about
to
that.
do it.
Oh.
So
Who would like to make a motion on this great item?
I'll move for approval.
Commissioner Bradshaw, thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Eager. Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Mission passes. Thank you all so much. And we have one more item before we take a break. Item 15, Vincent, State and Federal Legislative Affairs.
It's kind of hard to follow that one. Commissioners, tab 15 is an update for state and federal legislative matters. The legislature adjourned for its interim recess on September 13th, and then the governor had until October 13th to sign or veto any bills. The commission had previously taken a support position On SB 470, which extends the alternative teleconferencing provisions of the Bagley-Keene Act until January 2030. This bill was signed by the governor. The governor also signed SB 840, which appropriates the cap and invest proceeds from the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, or GGRF, starting next year. This will include $400 million annually for the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program, or TIRCIP. A summary of bills tracked by commission staff, including the final actions taken by the governor on Monday, was distributed as a pink item. And that concludes my remarks. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Vincent. Any public comment?
We do have one online attendee with their hand raised. I'd like to call on Tim Iveson. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment. Tim Iveson, please unmute yourself to begin your comment. There is no other public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the dais? So I believe this is an action item. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. No. It's on A. All right, great. So we're going to adjourn for. We're going to do a 15-minute break. We will see you back soon. Thank you. All right, we're going to get started here. Commissioners, please return. We're going to start with item 18, Destiny. Can I have order, please? All right. Item 16, Vince, budget allocation capacity. Let's please have order.
Commissioners, tab 16 is an informational item for budget and allocation capacity. Keith Duncan from Caltrans Budgets will present this item.
Thank you, Vince. Chair, commissioners, good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. And happy Bosses Day for those bosses in the room. As mentioned, Keith Duncan, Caltrans Budgets, and I'll be presenting tab 16, the budget and allocation capacity update. Oh, go slow just in case. There's a presentation, the usual stuff. I'll kind of talk through it a little bit. Next slide, please. Thank you. Right on. As noted in your agenda and your meeting material, through the August meeting, the commission allocated $2.7 billion onto 208 projects across all programs within the CTC's purview. That represents just under 25% allocated. We're about a quarter through the year, quarter allocated. Great progress. Next slide, please. As we have started this new federal fiscal year, we do want to highlight the end of last federal fiscal year, as we normally do, as we normally know about. Federal Highway Administration did do their annual August redistribution. California was once again quite successful. We received $611 million through that August redistribution process. Those funds were quickly obligated onto both state and local projects as required by the end of the federal fiscal year, so none of the federal funds were lost. We do want to acknowledge that it did come up in about $111 million higher than we were anticipating. So that $111 million does get added to the shop capacity so we can allocate additional funds on the shop project for this current year. Next slide, please. Here, just wanted to show the history, or at least over the last several years, the amount of August redistribution. You can see the bars on the left, the 6 bars on the left, that represents the funding level that we got from August redistribution from the FAST Act. And then the 4 bars there on the far right, those represent, you can see the, I'll say, sizable increase. And that's the August redistribution we've received through the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And you can see the sizable increase in the amount of funds. And again, successful August redistribution once again for California. Next slide, please. October is usually pretty light. So as we're looking ahead, October, we have started the federal fiscal year. Yes, there's no federal budget in place. The good thing is the IIJA was enacted with a 5-year apportionment. So we did have FHWA California Division and FHWA have released the apportionments for this new federal fiscal year. And we're continuing to work with, especially with our friends in the California Division. But we are looking forward to seeing what happens with the federal budget. And then as we look ahead to January, the release of the proposed governor's budget for the 26-27 fiscal year. And then also we do plan to present the draft 2027 active transportation program fund estimate. Next slide, please. And with that, I know I say it every time, but it can never be understated. I want to thank CTC staff, Caltrans financial programming, and our Caltrans budgets team. It always takes a team to manage when we're talking about billions, but I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Keith. Is there any public comment?
There is no public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the dais?
That is the Ferguson Rock Shed project. You know, recognize that quite well.
Vice Chair Fulcom.
Hi, thanks, Keith, and thank you for always updating us on our capacity. And so we are paying attention. And so as we're looking at allocations after our hearing, you know, what's the capacity that you anticipate, you know, from August through the rest of the year?
Well, the goal is always trying to get to 100%. As we've seen, I think at the latter half of the fiscal year, we typically provide you the trends on the overall allocation. I think at most over the last 3 to 4 years, we've been able to allocate 80% across all programs, and that's an aggregate, of course. So, I mean, the goal is always to put every tax dollar to work. So we would like to see 100%, but if we're hitting about the 75 to 80%, that seems to be the historical level combined. Oh, yes, the second half of the year, we definitely will show you the trends there.
Thank you.
Thanks, and thanks for you delving in on that, Vice Chair. I know you've been looking deeply. Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Keith.
Right on. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Next up, item 17, Tim. And before we start, just want to make a comment that we should all avoid ad hominems. I meant to mention that at the beginning of the meeting, but just wanted to restate that. Thanks. Ad hominems.
Commissioners, tab 17 is an information item. During the August CTC meeting, Caltrans was requested to provide the commission with an update on the State Route 710 sales program. Carolyn Dabney from the Caltrans Division of Right-of-Way and Land Surveys is here to provide the update.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Is that better? More? There we go. Okay.
I just want to say thank you for coming. Welcome to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Grisby and Commissioners. My name is Carolyn Dabney, and I'm the Program Manager for the State Route 710 Sales Program. And today I am providing an update on the 710 Sales Program, including key provisions of the Roberti Act, program challenges, and sales progress. Next slide. There we go. The State Route 710 Sales Program is a result of a now defunct transportation project that proposed to close a 4.5-mile gap on the 710 freeway, connecting the 10 and the 210 freeways, as shown in the purple shaded area. The Closure Gap project impacted 460 properties in Pasadena, South Pasadena, and the El Sereno community in Los Angeles. Properties were purchased by the department beginning in the 1960s and continuing through the 1990s. Next slide. I want to begin with addressing the many public comments at the last commission meeting claiming that Caltrans is managing the 710 sales program illegally. Caltrans is administering the program in accordance with law. The State Route 710 sales program regulations, which implement the Roberti Act, were reviewed by the Office of Administrative Law and were found to be clear, necessary, legally valid, and compliant with the standards set forth in California's Administrative Procedure Act. Next slide. The next few slides outline key provisions of the Roberti Act. The intent of the Roberti Act is to expand the supply of housing available to persons and families of low or moderate income. While the Roberti Act requires Caltrans to offer properties for sale, the Act does not guarantee home ownership. Rather, it provides tenants an opportunity to purchase upon meeting specific eligibility requirements, including occupancy, no prior real estate ownership, meeting the definition of persons or families of low to moderate income, and housing expenses not to exceed 25 or 30% of household income. The department is to hold the offer open for a reasonable time, which shall not be more than 1 year. However, Caltrans does have discretion to extend that. The Roberti Act recognized that not all tenants would meet the requirements for purchasing and therefore established a specific order of priority for offering properties and also included a provision for relocation benefits for tenants who are displaced as a direct result of the disposal of the property. Section 54236E of the Roberti Act defines displacement as persons who will have to move from the property they occupy when it is sold because they are unable to afford to pay the price that the state agency is asking for the property. Next slide. The Roberti Act requires the department to complete lender-required repairs for properties being purchased at affordable prices. The Act established the State Route 710 Rehabilitation Account, whereby all sales proceeds generated from residential properties are deposited into the rehab account and are utilized to complete lender-required repairs. The rehab account is capped at $1.2 million and is swept quarterly. Funds that are swept are then transferred to the State Route 710 LATIP for allocation by the Commission to fund transportation projects in the State Route 710 communities pursuant to Section 54237 of the Roberti Act. The remaining 3 bullets point to the specific section in the Roberti Act that outline the sales process and priorities for each city: El Sereno, Pasadena, and South Pasadena. Next slide. This graphic illustrates the sales priorities for each city. Due to time constraints, I won't go over each priority, but I would like to focus on the purple shaded area, which represents the only properties in the corridor that are offered at affordable prices, and that is single-family residences. The Roberti Act defines a single-family residence as a dwelling unit for one family. A property with a single-family residence that also contains an accessory dwelling unit is not considered a single-family residence under Roberti. Rather, it is classified as a surplus residential property. Roberti defines a surplus residential property as a property developed as a single-family or multifamily residence, and these properties are offered to current tenants at fair market value. Next slide. As an example of a surplus residential property, this is a single-family residence. However, in the back is a detached accessory dwelling unit capable of providing affordable housing to a person or family of low to moderate income. Under Roberti, this property will be offered as a surplus residential property at fair market value to the current tenant. Offering the property as a single-family residence would violate the Roberti Act. Again, the intent of the Roberti Act is to expand the supply of affordable housing. Selling as a single-family residence will remove the requirement for the ADU to be used for affordable housing. If the current tenant does not purchase at fair market value, the property is offered to the city, who is required to provide the existing tenant with the opportunity to rent at affordable rent if income eligible or fair market rent. The HRE must utilize the property for affordable rental housing for 55 years or affordable home ownership for 45 years. Next slide. Okay, now this is key. Perhaps the greatest misconception surrounding the Roberti Act is the notion that there is no bottom limit to affordability. That is false. While the Roberti Act doesn't specifically identify a minimum income, it is implied by the limitation imposed on housing expenses. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54236B, a purchaser's monthly payments shall not exceed a portion of the purchasing household's income, which is further defined in the regulations as 25% of gross household income for lower income households and 30% for moderate income households. The department did not create the affordable housing guidelines, but follows regulations implemented by the Department of Housing and Community Development. Next slide. Okay, with the next few slides, I want to walk through the 3 potential outcomes for determining eligibility of an affordable buyer. For example, this household earns $58,000 a year. Taking 25% of the household income for lower income households allows a maximum monthly housing expense of $1,213. After deducting housing expenses for property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities, there's a positive balance remaining of $565. This amount is then plugged into a formula to determine the maximum amount for a mortgage. In this case, the affordable purchase price is $87,155, and the tenant is determined eligible. Next slide. Here's another example of a tenant who is eligible to purchase at an affordable price. After deducting for housing expenses, the remaining funds of $93 results in an affordable price of $15,137. However, the Roberti Act doesn't allow Caltrans to sell properties for less than what Caltrans paid for the property. Therefore, the tenant must bridge the gap between the minimum sales price of $32,600 and the affordable sales price of $15,137 and bring in a $17,000 deposit. Next slide. This is an example of a tenant that has been determined ineligible to purchase at an affordable price. After deducting for housing expenses, this household does not have sufficient funds to pay all housing expenses. There's a negative of $195. Because housing expenses exceed 25% of household income, the tenant is ineligible to purchase at an affordable price pursuant to the Roberti Act. So these are the 3 scenarios occurring in the corridor, and because neighbors share information, there's confusion as to why some tenants are allowed to bridge the gap and bring in funds to remain eligible, and other tenants are given ineligibility notices. Because of the negative number in this situation, an affordable price cannot be calculated, and the tenant is determined ineligible pursuant to law. There are approximately 250 occupied single-family residences in the corridor. To date, less than 10% of the tenants have been determined ineligible to purchase at an affordable price due to exceeding the 25 to 30% limit set by law. Next slide. I mentioned earlier the State Route 710 rehab account. The lack of funding to complete lender-required repairs is one of the greater challenges of the program. Over $3.3 million has been swept from the rehab account. Currently, there are approximately 100 affordable transactions in escrow, with the average repair cost exceeding $100,000. Caltrans is preparing to close on 3 affordable transactions this fall, a process that has taken nearly 2 years due to contracting process, scheduling constraints, and unforeseen conditions, which also makes it difficult to expend funds prior to the funds being swept. The rehab account is at risk of being depleted prior to all properties being repaired. This process will take several years to cycle through all the escrows. Next slide. I want to shift now to the progress being made. All tenants in the corridor have received notices of solicitation, which begins the sales process. While only 1 property has sold to a current tenant during the past year, 96 transactions are in escrow for affordable buyers, and 27 tenants have pre-qualified to purchase at fair market value. As I mentioned earlier, Caltrans will be closing on 3 affordable sales this fall, with another 3 in early 2026. Next slide. This graphic shows where real progress is being made. During the past 2 fiscal years, Caltrans sold 58 properties to housing-related entities. All the sold properties were unoccupied properties, which were a priority for Caltrans to dispose of due to several other vacant properties being illegally occupied back in 2020. South Pasadena purchased 5 properties at original acquisition prices. The city flipped the properties, generating over $5 million for affordable housing. Both the cities of South Pasadena and Pasadena can purchase unoccupied properties at original acquisition prices and then sell on the open market at fair market value. For each property sold, the cities must develop 3 affordable housing units. The city of Pasadena purchased 17 properties and will be selling 13 of the properties at fair market value, and will then develop 39 affordable housing units with the sales proceeds. The remaining 4 properties will be utilized for affordable home ownership. The city of Los Angeles purchased 11 properties and will be using the properties for affordable rental housing. Another 25 properties were sold to private housing-related entities. To date, 58 properties have been sold to HREs, with another 18 properties pending. Caltrans will be offering another 20 properties this fall to HREs and another 20 properties early next year. Next slide. Despite the negative complaints about the program, there is good news coming out of the corridor. San Gabriel Valley Habitat for Humanity purchased 16 properties in El Sereno and recently hosted a celebration to turn over keys to 6 properties that were rehabilitated and sold to affordable buyers. San Gabriel Valley Habitat has a blind application process, and for these properties, they required applicants to be from the El Sereno community. San Gabriel continues to rehab the remaining properties and will eventually sell to affordable buyers. Next month, Caltrans is excited to celebrate with another HRE who will be hosting a ribbon-cutting ceremony for a 12-unit apartment complex in South Pasadena. Next slide. I want to close by saying, despite the negative public comments you are likely to hear today, Caltrans is administering the program in accordance with law. Caltrans has implemented policy to assist tenants in purchasing the homes they rent that extends beyond the Roberti Act. For example, under emergency regulations, Caltrans implemented a policy to allow tenants with rent delinquency to defer payment of delinquent rent until such time the property is subsequently sold at fair market value, sort of a silent second. Caltrans also delays processing sales for those tenants who are delinquent in rent and do not meet the CalTIPA loan requirement to have 12 consecutive months of on-time rent payments. Caltrans sets those properties aside to allow tenants sufficient time to meet the 12-month requirement. Further, in estimating housing expenses, Caltrans offers the tenants the opportunity to provide their own utility bills and obtain their own insurance quotes rather than rely on the formulas used to estimate housing cost. Caltrans has also granted several tenant-requested time extensions. As a result of issuing ineligibility notices that are issued due to noncompliance with the law, Caltrans has been accused of intentionally finding tenants ineligible as an act of retribution or to avoid the cost of completing lender-required repairs, and has been accused of discrimination, including discriminating against the elderly. Caltrans takes no pleasure in telling a household they are not eligible to purchase at an affordable price, and we agree that it is nonsensical to send out a notice of ineligibility to purchase at an affordable price based upon insufficient income, but then turn around and offer the tenants the opportunity to purchase at fair market value. However, this is required by the Roberti Act. While most tenants are grateful for the opportunity to become homeowners and are being very patient with the process, a small handful of tenants frequently threaten a forthcoming lawsuit. Back in 2018, Caltrans was sued by 5 tenants, which resulted in sales being halted for over 2 years, followed by the COVID shutdown. Sales were delayed for years, which ushered in skyrocketing real estate values and increased interest rates. Overall, that lawsuit was detrimental to the State Route 710 tenants. If another lawsuit is filed, sales will potentially be delayed again. That's the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you. First, we'll move to public comment.
To start public comment, I'd like to call on Sean. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment.
Yes, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, hi. My name is Sean Salazar. I am one of the tenants that Carolyn Dabney is referring to as the disqualified tenants for not having enough income. So there are so many matters that she just described that go hand in hand with the Roberti Act. The way they are determining housing expenses is not governed by the Roberti Act. And I have brought to their attention so many viable options that will put my family in the positive, because we are short of a astonishing $40 a month to qualify for this program. I have brought to their attention the way they determine maintenance costs, which I feel is excessive. There is also utility bills that they have accepted that I feel were inaccurate because of the fact that Caltrans has recently hired a plumber who discovered that my toilet is running water constantly, therefore raising my utility bills. Therefore, the audit they performed by a 710 right-of-way agent a few months back is inaccurate. and they refuse to take current utility bills that are accurate now that the toilet is no longer running and running up our utility bills. And that is just one of the situations. There's also so many viable options that could lower housing expenses that they refuse to do. I'm talking, I have a chart from Carolyn Dabney and Heriberto Salazar that proves that my family is short $40 to qualify for this program. It's unacceptable, and we need change, and we need it now. We deserve to purchase these homes under the Roberti Act, despite what you've heard from her.
Next, I would like to call on Kelly Brinkman. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment. Kelly, I see you are unmuted, but we cannot hear you. Kelly, I still see you're unmuted, but we cannot hear you. We will come back to you. I'd like to move on to Roberto Flores. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Yes, just in, I am a member of the Caltrans Tenants Associate, United Caltrans Tenants. Thank you for your service. Your statement and practice, particularly on DEI, is an antidote to the current attacks and the anti-democratic ethos and practice, that we're suffering from at the federal level. I cannot say this about the accolade to CTC about every other state agency, particularly Caltrans. It's not secret that Caltrans always thought that the Roberti bill was unconstitutional. According to Caltrans, the Roberti bill is a giveaway of public funds and unconstitutional. The OAL has been operating hand in hand with Caltrans as a rubber stamp, stamping regulations that are violating the Roberti bill. Regulations like putting to the test people of low income is one of them, and barring them from the sales process. One more thing, some of the folks that have been disqualified have savings and family that could help them purchase the house, and they would be left with a bill that's less than what they're paying right now. Many of them can afford it, contrary to the report. The Roberti law, two main things was to mitigate for the harm done by people and community sacrificing their homes, and for the sake of building a freeway.
Thank you, sir. Your time's up.
Next, I'd like to call on Carlos Cordon. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment. Carlos Cordon, please unmute yourself to begin your comment. Next, I'd like to call on Kelly Brinkman. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment. Kelly Brinkman, please unmute yourself to begin your comment. Kelly, I see you're unmuted, but we still cannot hear you. I also see you're logged in twice. We will move on to the next comment and we will come back to you. Next, I'd like to call on Sean. Sean, I believe you already gave a comment. Kelly, we will try you one last time. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment. That is it for online comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Any questions or comments from the dais? Hearing none. Thank you, Dabney.
Thank you.
Next up is item 18, innovations in transportation. Bridget.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tab 18 is an information item. As part of our Innovations in Transportation series, I'm pleased to introduce Dara Wheeler, the Acting Chief of the newly established Data and Artificial Intelligence Office at Caltrans. Dara will provide a presentation on Caltrans's key AI initiatives. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dara.
Thanks, Bridget. Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Dara Wheeler, and I am the Acting Chief Data and AI Officer for Caltrans. Today, I'm going to be presenting on the artificial intelligence efforts and activities at Caltrans. I plan to spend around 7 minutes giving you a high-level overview, and then I'm happy to address any questions. So originally, my presentation was going to be on innovation and AI. But we decided to scale that back and just focus on AI this time because there's no way that I could get through both topics in 7 minutes. And I'm waiting for my friend to join me. Oh, yes. Okay, and so I share this because I'm joined today by the Caltrans robotic dog, Spot. Spot is a 4-legged robot made by Boston Dynamics. Spot was going to be a featured component of the Innovation at Caltrans summary, and he wanted to join us here today to check things out. Perhaps we can share more innovations like Spot at future CTC meetings. This robotic dog represents where artificial intelligence meets the physical world. We often think of AI as software or algorithms, models, and data, but increasingly, AI is becoming embodied, applied in devices and sensors and systems that learn and adapt in the real time. And that's what's coming for transportation too. At Caltrans, we've been using this robotic dog to assist our workers by keeping them out of dangerous situations, like in culvert inspections and inspecting bridges. But they could be used to assist in search and rescue, in hazardous environments, and rock scaling operations if the terrain isn't too high. On another case, we piloted a Spot at one of the Southern California maintenance stations that was continuing to be hit with copper wire theft. His role there was to provide after-hours security, and I'm happy to announce that that research project was a huge success. He actually caught somebody. All right, next slide, please. Oh, we got the slides? Second slide, please. Okay, so our journey into AI really started in 2023 when Governor Newsom signed Executive Order N1223 on generative artificial intelligence. This is also when my introduction to AI began. I like to tell people I'm not an engineer, I'm not a technologist, I have a background in policy and politics, and I live on the business side of the house. So we've accomplished a lot in 2 short years. One of the first things that we did related to the executive order was to nominate 2 Gen AI projects when there was a call to all state agencies to submit ideas. Caltrans was awarded 2 of the first 5 Gen AI proof of concept projects for the state of California. In addition to the 2 use cases, CalSTA and Caltrans leadership really understood the strategic importance of dedicating a position to lead and drive data and AI efforts. So the role that I currently sit in was also created. And then lastly, we also understood early on that in order to make responsible and transformative decisions, we needed to focus on the development of data and AI strategy and governance. Next slide, please. So I wanted to spend a moment and just talk about the importance of data. So when this position was created, it was created under the pretense that AI is less powerful and less trustworthy if the data that it uses and consumes is not good, clean, or authoritative. So Caltrans has been working on our data governance efforts for many years, but elevating data and pairing it with AI seemed like an important step to expedite the delivery of both. Next slide, please. Like I mentioned earlier, we've done a lot in 2 short years. We've dedicated a position to lead the strategic implementation and the adoption of data and AI efforts to ensure that Caltrans is a future-ready organization. We've developed AI policy that set the rules for the road on how AI is adopted, governed, and aligned with our goals and values. We've established a small amount of initial funding to support our efforts. We've started a journey with 2 Gen AI use cases. We're developing strategic documents like a data and AI readiness assessment, a data and AI strategic plan, an implementation roadmap, and a use case repository. And I'm happy to say that all of those documents will be completed by the end of this year. And we're almost ready to roll out our training, Gen AI training plan to provide that education that is critical for our workforce. And it's also important here to mention that we've been talking with the unions during this entire journey so that they are aware, so that we hear any concerns and that they're not caught off guard on any of our efforts. We're also very aware of workforce's concerns that AI might take over our jobs. And it's a very common concern. So we don't want to dismiss that concern. When I hear something like that, I like to say that AI is here to enhance or aid how we work, like an intern, not eliminate what we do. It can help us process information faster, improve accuracy, and handle repetitive or time-consuming tasks. So our workers can focus on the higher value, the judgment-based, and the creative work that only people can do. But honestly, we still need to provide a lot of communications, training, and to be open to all of the concerns that our workforce has. And lastly, we're working on a strong communications plan and a change management component that is necessary for a major shift like this in an organization. Next slide, please. All right, so I mentioned earlier we have 2 Gen AI proof of concept projects stood up during the executive order. This is the first one. We call it the Traffic Mobility Insights Project, and Accenture and Microsoft are our 2 key partners for this project. This project will benefit our traffic engineers by turning hours into minutes for insights and decision-making when it comes to analyzing traffic patterns and impacts, as well as improving work zone safety. This project alone has already ingested 5 terabytes of data and over 33 billion records, and it's still going. I just learned that this week. Next slide, please. And this is the second project, in which we call Enhancing Vulnerable Road User Safety. For this project, Deloitte and Google are our 2 key partners. This project could proactively help identify locations needing safety improvements before there are collisions and crashes and fatalities. It could generate potential countermeasures and help with data-driven investment decisions. Next slide, please. I wanted to highlight a few partnerships on this slide. We know that we can't do this all by ourselves. The companies on this slide are just a fraction of our partners. There are many more, which include academic, Esri, big data companies, and technology companies. But I wanted to call out one particular partnership on this slide, the Office of Traffic Safety. So Gen AI is not cheap. So we applied for a grant from the Office of Traffic Safety, and with the grant's help, we were able to maintain the progress that we've made to date with the hopes that the work that we're doing on these tools can and will potentially save lives. Next slide, please. All right, in addition to the two use, next slide. There we go. So in addition to the 2 use cases I just mentioned, we also completed a pilot project testing Microsoft Copilot's value and benefit to improve our efficiency and for our workforce. If you're not familiar with Microsoft Copilot, it's a Gen AI tool similar to ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or my favorite Gen AI tool, Hugging Face. Just like that name. During the pilot, we had 168 users that generated more than 17,000 interactions. The project yielded an estimated 1,300 hours saved, and that translates to an average of 2.3 hours per user weekly. And so the next step will be to roll out Copilot to the entire organization within the next several months. Next slide, please. I also wanted to highlight some of the efficiencies that using Copilot generated. So Gen AI is great at summarizing documents, long documents, reports, and manuals. It can also generate summaries in different languages. It can help draft emails and images, and it can help us learn new skills and get answers to specific and complex questions. I like to view AI as an intern, and interns are great, but someone needs to review their work, and only a human can determine if the content is accurate and free of bias. Next slide. So I wanted to wrap up by sharing some potential future use cases. As I mentioned earlier, we've been collecting use cases from our business areas and are very excited about what the future holds. I'm not going to go through all of these use cases, but I will call out the first one as an example. AI can and has been used by other state DOTs to improve bid prediction and estimation by analyzing historical data, market trends, and project variables. I am excited to think about the possibilities of using AI to help with this type of workflow. But with all of these use cases that we are collecting, and because of the high cost of technology, we're going to need to prioritize and determine which use cases have the biggest ROI so that we can prove the worthiness of using this new technology before we scale up. And this is my last slide. Next one. Okay, so when I put this PowerPoint deck together about a month ago, I wanted a powerful quote to leave you with. Looking back, I might have chosen a different quote, because when we think about AI, it's not necessarily about how much money we will save. It could be a signal that those savings must intentionally be reinvested or applied in ways that close, not widen, transportation gaps. The real question is, will we use those efficiencies to just do things faster or to do them fairer? And finally, to bring this conversation full circle back to our robot dog spot, if AI can learn to walk, balance, and adapt, imagine what it can do for our roads, bridges, and transit systems. The question isn't if AI will transform transportation, but how thoughtfully will lead that transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dara. Congrats on your appointment. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
We're going to go to public comment first. I see there might be someone from the last item on there. We'll just skip that one.
Okay, I'd like to call on Kelly Brinkman. Please unmute yourself to begin your comment. Kelly Brinkman, please unmute yourself to begin your comment. There's no other public comment. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you. Let's go to the dais. Any questions, comments? I see Commissioner Tiffany.
Thank you for your presentation. It's fascinating, and no doubt there's a lot that can be done with AI, as you pointed out. Particularly some of the traffic congestion issues that it can address, safety. There's a whole host of things that I can see in a very positive way. But I am curious as to, obviously you're aware of a lot of the concern that's out there with AI. It's growing faster than exponentially. And there is concern about, that intern getting ahead of the professional, or however you want to put it. I'm just curious, what kind of safeguards are you looking at to put in place to ensure that you direct, guide, lead the AI as opposed to the other way around?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're focusing on the people aspect first. We need to do that training. We need to get information out. We need to bring conversations into programs so that people can relate to it. With regards to safeguards, we've got policy that talks about what we can do with AI. We're just going to continue to build the momentum that we have, working off of pilot projects, listening to our partners, obviously consulting with unions, but it's always about the people and providing them with the tools and making sure that they're comfortable. We don't expect everyone to embrace the technology, and that's okay. We need to look across the organization and see what skills exist, see where there's opportunities for upskilling, and look at classifications. These are all things that we need to look in as part of building our foundation in the department, because we definitely want to protect our workforce.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Commissioner. Any other questions or comments? See Vice Chair, no, Commissioner Eager. Commissioner Eager.
Got a quick question. Okay, that's it. Yeah, just a quick question. In addition to people being concerned about robots taking over their jobs, there's also the concern about people hacking in and changing what you had anticipated. Certainly you have a new job. You probably never thought you were going to direct a dog around here, right? What have we done to look at that aspect of how do we protect our investments here?
That's another great question. So anytime we procure new technology that has anything to do with artificial intelligence, there's a risk assessment that has to go along with it. So there's a cybersecurity lens, there's multiple layers. I haven't been involved with the risk assessment, but most of the time procurements involve risk assessments so that they address any concerns. So hopefully that answers your question.
All right. Are you satisfied, Commissioner Eager? Okay, cool. So I see Commissioner Elliott, and then we'll go to Vice Chair Fulcom.
Thanks. Just making sure you can hear me. This is the first time I've unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I want to appreciate the presentation and the work that you're doing behind the scenes to make that executive order real. In my previous job, I had a bit to do with the drafting of that, and to now see it being implemented is really rewarding. My comment is simply that, a comment, although I welcome you to respond to it. It's not really a question. I do quite a bit of work in my other life with AI companies and on AI policy. And one of the things that I think is so important about the work that all of the state agencies and departments are doing under the executive order is that there really is not a market for GovTech or publicly beneficial technology applications of AI. The companies are developing chatbots and they are developing enterprise solutions because that's where the money is. So we're seeing more and more chatbot development. We're seeing more and more browser integration for private companies, which are all wonderful things. But unless we're going to be intentional about inducing publicly beneficial uses like those that you have mentioned and like the kinds of case examples that other sister agencies and departments are doing, the companies will have no incentive to create that kind of technology. So I only say that I'm appreciative of the work that you are doing and that the agency and Caltrans department is doing to make this real. It's really important for the reasons that it's self-evidently important for the things that those programs are doing. It's also more globally important, which is the more that governments step forward and try to procure AI first technology, the more the big labs and the big companies will think about developing that kind of application. The more research and development money will go into publicly beneficial tech, and the better off we will all be. So this has global implications, and I just want to appreciate, I mean that literally, global implications, and I just want to appreciate the work that you're doing to make that executive order real.
Thank you. Appreciate those comments.
And thanks for your leadership, Commissioner Elliott. Next up is Vice Chair Fulcom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just want to ditto 1,000% what Commissioner Elliott just articulated in his comments about, being really intentional about how we use technology. This has been a presentation that I've been personally been anticipating for the past few months. And congratulations, Dara, for coming into this role. And with such gusto, I challenge anybody else to come in with a great show and tell like yours. So I appreciate the demonstration, but more so the work that you're going to be doing. You know, I'm really interested, and I'm glad that you brought up the workforce, how you're going to be addressing that, because that is something that has been particularly sensitive to folks that I have heard as it relates to their jobs, how they're going to utilize AI, how do they skill themselves, how do governments decide on what AI or other emerging technology tools they will be adopting and how to do it. This is all very nuanced and new for everybody.
Right.
And the governor just passed some legislation that provides now framework on how we adopt AI. And so, that's a great step forward.
Yeah.
But I have to echo Commissioner Elliott's comments about how, we utilize these technologies not for the sake of technology and to keep up, but how do we mold this technology to serve us, right? We were in Butte County and we were talking about with the city of Chico, their ATP project that they'd like to see. And when a question came up about, well, how do you coordinate with first responders, because the corridor is right next to a hospital, or a hospital is right next to the corridor where they want to put an ATP project, and they talked about using AI for anticipating or calibrating and coordinating how first responders utilize that corridor alongside folks that are riding their bikes. And so you talk about safety, that is probably first and foremost that needs to be, that we need to utilize this technology is for safety, right? How do we enhance that? Other thoughts that I had was, how do we include AI as a part of this transportation ecosystem, not only within the state, but with how our regional partners and local partners are utilizing AI? How do we streamline that so it's seamless, right? That we're all talking to each other and that it's benefiting everybody in a holistic way. We just finished adopting our AB 744 study on how we look at regions from throughout the state on how they collect data and how they're going to adopt data, and how does that figure into how we use technology and AI in a localized way. So it's a lot. I'm not asking you to answer all these questions, but the work that you're doing opens up a lot of possibilities and opportunities for coordination and partnerships in this space. And so we look forward to working with you and looking at how we invest in these kind of tools. And that's what they are. They are tools.
They are
And
tools, yeah.
so, thank you for taking up the work and for the wonderful demonstration.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have any questions or comments? Commissioner Gardina?
Yes, when Doug has puppies, do we each get one?
They would be very expensive puppies.
So I have a
Well, thank you for the opportunity to come today. I've been looking forward to, I've heard my name's been shared as part of a new hire for Caltrans. So I'm glad that I finally got an opportunity to come and present and look forward to bringing more information back to you about some of the exciting use cases that we're doing and how we're bringing along the workforce.
Excellent. Kind of have a practical question for you.
Sure.
We know a lot of cities around the state have an issue with illegal dumping on right-of-ways, issues with parked cars that become encampments, that kind of thing. Is it possible that this technology could be a solve for some of those issues that some cities face?
I suspect that there's a use case for something like that. I'm not familiar with one, but I suspect that this technology could be used to do scans and build data. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go, Spot. Thank you.
Very cool stuff. So item 19, Bridget.
Thanks, Chair Grisby, and I will do my best to give my presentation while the dog is exiting the room. Tab 19 is an information item. Projects that compete for the Solutions for Congested Corridors program are required by the California Streets and Highways Code to be included in a comprehensive multimodal corridor plan. The Commission maintains guidelines for the development of comprehensive multimodal corridor plans, which is quite the mouthful, so I'll refer to them henceforth as corridor plans. The Commission adopted the first corridor plan guidelines in 2018, and this serves as the first update to those guidelines. Staff circulated a draft of the corridor plan guidelines on July 1st of this year for a 30-day public comment period. We received feedback from Caltrans, several regional agencies, and members of the Interagency Equity Advisory Committee. We greatly appreciate the thoughtful feedback we received and have made changes throughout the guidelines in response. The updated draft document, as well as the list of comments received, has been posted to the Commission's website. And in the staff report, attachment A summarizes key changes that have been made since the 2018 version. While the guidelines do not reflect significant policy changes, I did want to highlight a few key changes with you. Staff has added a new appendix with links to planning resources, including Caltrans statewide planning documents and corridor planning guidance. We have expanded considerations for climate resiliency and adaptation, safety and emergency management, and encouraging equitable outcomes. And we have highlighted the importance of multimodal transportation, including interregional rail, transit, active transportation, and marine transportation infrastructure in corridor planning. This item serves as the North hearing for the draft 2025 corridor plan guidelines. The South hearing and proposed guidelines adoption, we are anticipating for the December Commission meeting. Before I conclude, I would like to acknowledge a fellow member of my team, Destiny Preston, who has led the update of the guidelines, but unfortunately was not able to be at the meeting today. And with that, that concludes my remarks. I would be happy to take any questions from you.
Thank you, Bridget. First, let's go to public comment. Is there any?
There is no public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the dais. Any questions or comments from the dais? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Bridget. Next up is item 20, Active Transportation Program Status Report. Jaden.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tab 20 is an information item presenting the 2025 Active Transportation Program Status Report. The Commission publishes the status report to provide program transparency and a summary of progress for projects spanning 7 funding cycles. To date, the Commission has programmed over 1,200 projects that will deliver active transportation improvements, including 1,546 miles of bike facilities, 29,473 new crosswalks or crosswalk enhancements, and 174 new multi-use trails or trail enhancements, amongst other improvements. The 2025 status report summarizes milestones through fiscal year 2024-25, such as allocations, allocation time extensions, scope changes, and executed baseline agreements for projects programmed in the statewide component, the small urban and rural component, the Metropolitan Planning Organization component, as well as the Quick Build Pilot Program and the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund component. To prepare this report, the Commission collaborated closely with the Caltrans Division of Local Assistance and regional transportation planning agencies to identify errors and to ensure the accuracy of the report. New to this year's report is the completed projects section, which lists all projects that have been fully closed out, meaning the implementing agency completed the program project and submitted a final delivery report. While this is the first we are presenting the completed projects in a separate section, many of these projects have been fully closed out for several years. I'm pleased to share that almost 500 out of the total 1,200 program projects have been completed. This is a big accomplishment considering the Active Transportation Program funds all project phases from the environmental phase through construction. The 2025 Active Transportation Program Status Report is attached to the book item and will be published on the Commission's website. Thank you for your time. This is an information item, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Thanks, Jaden. Is there any public comment?
There is no public comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from the dais? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Jaden. Next up is item 21, Alika.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioners, tab 21 is an information item presenting the draft amendment to the Aeronautics Capital Improvement Plan ranking priority matrix for the Acquisition and Development Program, or the A&D. The A&D is a 2-year program providing state grants to airports for planning, construction, and land acquisition. Each A&D project program is ranked based on the scope of work utilizing the existing priority matrix. This matrix includes 3 ranking categories: safety, capacity, and security. This draft amendment includes renaming the ranking priority matrix to the A&D project scoring criteria, as well as introducing the expanded priority areas to include new categories such as climate action, equity and environmental justice, and economic development and multimodal access. The final amendment will be presented to you all at the December 2025 Commission meeting for approval. Here to present the A&D project scoring criteria is the Division of Aeronautics Chief, Tariq Tibshuri. And I believe he is on virtually.
Okay. Hello, and good afternoon. Thank you, Alika. And good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to present an update to the Aeronautics Acquisition and Development Project Prioritization methodology. I do have a slide deck prepared, and there we go. Thank you so much. If we can go to the next slide, please. So Caltrans Division of Aeronautics Acquisition and Development, or A&D program, is a biannual 2-year program that provides state grants to publicly owned general aviation airports across California. Under this program, the state covers 90% of an allocated project's total cost and requires a 10% local match. The A&D program supports airport projects that address capital improvement, maintenance, planning, and local acquisition needs. Eligible project types are defined in the Public Utilities Code and associated regulations. Currently, the A&D program of projects is developed from a pool of projects listed in the state's capital improvement plan. Projects are prioritized based on rank, and that rank is established by the type of project. For example, runway pavement improvement is ranked number 1. However, the current process does not take into account the condition of airport infrastructure, broader aviation system needs, or alignment with state's transportation priorities. Next slide, please. As such, updating the prioritization methodology was needed. First, though, we had to identify new project types that reflect new or emerging airport needs, as well as the state's priorities around decarbonization, climate action, and equity. The project types we identified are charging stations for electric aircraft and or on airport vehicles, renewable energy microgrid systems, educational facilities and equipment, fueling facilities and equipment, helipads, and airport improvements and equipment necessary for emergency services. Incorporating these types of projects into the A&D program aligns the program with statewide policies and plans, such as CAPTI 2.0, the Caltrans Strategic Plan, the California Air Resources Board Scoping Plan, and addresses the needs of airports, airport users, and the communities they serve. Next slide, please. At the Commission's request and in coordination with Commission staff, we developed a two-step process to achieve this goal. First, the California Public Utilities Code and its associated regulations are prescriptive. Only the types of projects listed in statute and regulations are eligible for A&D program funding. As such, the first step was to update A&D program regulations to add these new project types to the list of eligible projects. The regulatory approval process was completed earlier this year, and as of July 1st, the new project types listed earlier were added to the regulations. I would like to acknowledge and thank Commission staff and the Association California Airports, ACA, for their engagement and valuable input in co-developing these new categories and for their support through the regulations rulemaking process. The next step is the introduction of an improved scoring system that not only integrates these project types, but also addresses the gaps in the existing scoring system, such as taking into account the existing condition of the infrastructure and airport, region, and system needs. Next slide, please. The proposed update to the prioritization methodology uses a comprehensive, multidimensional, and weighted scoring system. Each project put forward by a local agency for inclusion in the A&D program will go through a multi-step scoring process. Its final score will be based on two main numerical components, a project score and a merit score. The project score looks at the safety benefits of the proposed improvement, taking into account not just the type of improvement proposed, but the condition of the existing infrastructure. Runway pavement remains the most important category for a project, but consideration of the condition of the existing runway will affect the score. We also looked at the merits of a project. The merit score is a composite of 3 subscores, each from a different lens. The base score weighs a proposed project through the lens of state priorities, and those are safety, security, multimodal access, climate action, equity, and capacity. An airport benefit score addresses the importance of a proposed project from an airport planning lens. And finally, a system benefit score will address a project's importance from a regional and system planning lens. Finally, no scoring method is complete from bias, and we allow for further review and consideration so an airport or the division can allow for important or worthwhile projects that did not make the cut to proceed. Next slide, please. In summary, the proposed update prioritization methodology brings several important improvements to the current method. It aligns with the state's transportation priorities, provides a more objective scoring system, and allows for flexibility through justifications. It addresses safety needs, medium-term airport and system planning needs, and generates data that can inform long-term planning and forecasting. And most importantly, it also improves stakeholder engagement and collaboration with our airport partners. Next slide. Thank you for the opportunity to provide you this update, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go to public comment first.
There's no public comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything from the dais, questions or comments? All right, thanks so much. Appreciate the report.
Thank you.
Next up is item 22, Lori.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tab 22 is an action item. In 2003, the Commission programmed and allocated Proposition 116 funds to the Transportation Agency for Monterey County to purchase right-of-way for the San Francisco-Monterey Intercity Rail Project. The commission stipulated that the project needed to start operations within 10 years, or the right-of-way would need to be sold and the state reimbursed the then present value. At the time, TAMSI was committed to the passenger rail project. However, because of issues like insufficient funding, passenger rail was not established in the corridor within the 10-year period. Therefore, TAMSI is required to refund or credit the state the present value of the property. In October, an appraisal determined the present value to be $16,765,000. At the December 2024 commission meeting, the commission approved a resolution allowing this repayment through a credit. And the credit would be through prioritizing future rail investments that are consistent with Prop 116. TAMSI was also required to submit a project list to the commission by its June 2025 meeting to identify future rail investments up to $16,765,000. TAMSI did submit a proposed project list to the commission in May to fulfill that requirement. Commission staff provided feedback to TAMSI on the proposed project list, and subsequently, TAMSI submitted a revised project list in August of 2025. Commission staff have determined that this revised project list, which is included in the book item as attachment B, meets the requirements approved by the commission at the December meeting. As shown on the project list, TAMSI proposes to use eligible expenditures on the construction of the Pajaro-Watsonville multimodal station as the mechanism for repaying the Proposition 116 credit. The Pajaro-Watsonville multimodal station is a cornerstone of the Monterey County Rail Extension Project, a multi-phase initiative to extend passenger rail service from Santa Clara County to Salinas. This project is a new passenger rail investment without currently identified construction funding and meets the requirements of Proposition 116. TAMSI will report the progress of these investments to the commission on an annual basis until the credit is fulfilled. The credit is considered fulfilled upon acceptance of the construction contract. Staff recommends your approval.
Thank you, Lori. Is there any public comment?
There's no public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from the dais, questions or comments?
I'd be happy to make that motion for approval.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Gardino. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Leanne Eager. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thanks a lot. Next up is item 23, Ahmed.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Tab 23 is an information item. As required by the Commission's resolution on leasing airspace to private entities, Caltrans submits quarterly reports on its management of its airspace lease program. These reports keep the Commission informed about Caltrans' progress toward compliance with the Commission's resolution, Caltrans' procedures and guidance, and applicable state and federal laws. Caltrans has submitted its latest report and will present today the fourth quarter update for the fiscal year 2024-2025, covering the period between April 1st and June 30th. Today's presentation will include an overview of the current lease inventory, progress on inspections, efforts to address lease holdovers and challenges, and program improvements and training activities. Staff acknowledges and commends the progress made so far by Caltrans while recognizing that this still work remains ahead. With that, I'll turn it over to Renee Fletcher to provide the presentation.
Good afternoon, Chair Grisby and Commissioners. My name is Tiara Moringhill, not Renee Fletcher, unfortunately, and I'm the Deputy Division Chief for Right-of-Way and Land Surveys in Caltrans. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the Caltrans airspace program for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 24-25. Next slide. This presentation provides a high-level overview of the statistics for the fourth quarter report for the Caltrans Airspace Program. Current site use overview. We are currently managing a variety of site uses across the program. Today, I'll highlight 4 key categories of current uses. Telecommunications. This remains the most common lease type with 177 active sites. Parking. We are currently managing 174 parking sites, and the number is expected to increase over time. Open storage. There are currently 24 open storage sites, all of which are currently under evaluation for potential termination. Mini storage. There are 13 mini storage facilities located within the right-of-way. For inspections during the quarter, a total of 134 inspections were completed. No safety concerns were identified by Caltrans staff during these inspections. The State Fire Marshal continues to inspect properties within the state's right-of-way. As of this quarter, 19 inspections are considered failures, an increase of 2 from the previous quarter. 9 sites are currently undergoing corrective actions in coordination with tenants. 7 sites, all located in Los Angeles, are non-compliant structures and cannot be corrected. 3 inspections are ongoing and involve mini storage facilities. Both new failures during this quarter are located in District 11, San Diego. One is a hotel. It's failed due to missing smoke detectors. Issues are correctable. The second one is a mini storage. It previously passed but now failed due to tenant storage violations. Holdover sites. We currently have 119 sites in holdover status. This number may continue to increase as leases expire and before properties are re-auctioned. We will discuss the topic in more detail in a later slide. Next slide, please. Caltrans oversight actions. Caltrans headquarters right-of-way has been actively engaging with districts across the state to review current inventory, assess the impact of recent policy changes, develop a corrective action plans in response to findings from the I-10 audit. Focus meetings have been completed in Districts 4, Oakland, District 11, San Diego, District 12, Orange County, and the North Region. Districts 1, 2, and 3 have completed full inventory reviews. District 7, LA, was partially reviewed virtually due to the emergency wildfire conditions. However, headquarters and District 7 staff met with the State Fire Marshal to review all airspace leases under structures. A follow-up review with the District 7 Los Angeles office is scheduled